bet just $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Takes 90 seconds. That's it. Use the code HERD, H-E-R-D. That's code HERD for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.co/bball for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
Whether it's expanding your business, upgrading your equipment, or covering payroll, you can score big with SwishFunding.com, the slam dunk solution for your business funding needs. If you have at least $25,000 in monthly revenue and been in business for at least 1 year, qualifying's easier than a layup. We fund up to $5 million in 24 hours. Go to SwishRadio.com. That's SWISH Radio.com. SwishRadio.com.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. We are Sports 56 WHBQ and on your 253 Memphis, Flint Broadcasting Stations. It's time to get up and get your day started. Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker! It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. Happy Hump Day to you. Happy Juneteenth as we celebrate across this great country of ours. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd, and a cast of thousands with you as we broadcast live, as we do each and every day from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, if you haven't checked them out yet, what are you waiting for? 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Everything you need to have a fantastic summer. They got it for you right there at Family Leisure. First hour of the program also brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Right now, 74 degrees. We're looking at a high today of 89, so the temperature starts to rise a bit. The humidity was out there yesterday and will continue to be, as it will be warmer later in the week, and then this weekend expected to be in the mid to upper 90s. But once again, overcast skies with a very minimal chance of rain, so that's good. I like the overcast rather than the sun for the most part, as long as it's not raining. Tonight, cloudy skies with a low of 71, and then for your Thursday, the high gets up to 91. We'll see some sun and a little bit of clouds as well. Coming up on the program today, we got a lot to get into. 1 week from today will be the first day of the two-day NBA draft. So we're a week away. We can stop all the speculation, all the innuendo, all the talk, all the mock drafts, but we got a week more of that. So we'll talk a little bit about that. The latest on the Memphis AD search, which changed an awful lot in the last 24 hours, at least more additions to that list. ESPN's way too early NBA power rankings are out for next season. We'll tell you what they think of the Grizzlies, and also we'll tell you what ESPN and their Football Power Index projects the Memphis Tigers football team to do this upcoming 2024 season. We got the latest from the College Baseball World Series. The Stanley Cup Finals continue as Edmonton staves off elimination. And good news as far as viewership when it comes to the UFL and the UFL Championship. We will talk Tigers basketball with Parth Upadhyay from the Daily Memphian at 8:25 there's a lot to get into. Yesterday, the Shelby County Pro-Am League returned, started a new summer season. A lot of big names playing some basketball in the summer, preparing for whatever it may be, college, professional, leagues around the country, but also news involving a possible return of a player to the University of Memphis. At 9:05, it's all about the Grizzlies and the NBA with DeMichael Cole. And, of course, we'll take your calls and texts, as we always do, on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. A lot of topics, a lot to get into. Kick back, relax, enjoy this Hump Day edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
What's happening?
Just getting by.
They ended up having to postpone the second game of the College Baseball World Series yesterday. Kentucky and Florida were supposed to play the nightcap. Was that because the Florida State-North Carolina game was long, or is it just the rain was coming that night?
The rain was coming.
The rain was coming. So they'll play the Kentucky-Florida game, which is an elimination game, at 10 a.m. this morning in Omaha. I shouldn't assume, but I'm going to assume that the weather's better. Tennessee and Florida State in a winner's bracket game scheduled to start at 2. And then the night game, Texas A&M, and that's to be determined. So I guess that would be the winner of the Kentucky-Florida game would move on to play Texas A&M. So there you go. But another team eliminated yesterday, and another ACC team, as North Carolina was beaten by Florida State 9-5. So Florida State, the only ACC team remaining. Meanwhile, you have all 4 still alive from the SEC.
Yeah, it's that's a good Florida State team. That obviously had the great battle in Game 1 against Tennessee. Now they have to beat Tennessee twice in order to try and advance. So Tennessee just has to win one of the 2. But that is a really good Florida State offense. They have put up, I think they 27 runs or something like that, or maybe more now in their 3 games. They pound the baseball. So that is 2 very explosive offenses facing off with Tennessee and Florida State.
With all the things we plan to talk about today, and there's a lot of different topics, of course, the biggest story, unfortunately, is yet another passing of an absolute sports legend. The news came down yesterday that Willie Mays has passed away at the age of 93. Obviously lived an incredible life. Started out as most of the careers for African-American players of that age when they started out. There weren't a lot of outlets for them. They usually started in the Negro Leagues. And it's ironic, or it's fate, or it's whatever, that this week with Juneteenth and the celebration that's happening at Rickwood Field in Birmingham, that Willie Mays, arguably the greatest player to ever play the game of baseball, passes away. He's from Alabama. He's from that area. Just a couple of days ago, he sent out some correspondence saying why he couldn't make it to the game. He wanted to send along his thoughts and everything. He started out as a 17-year-old playing for the Birmingham Black Barons. And, of course, he would go on to become this unbelievable player for the San Francisco Giants, New York Mets at the end of his career. But yesterday, they're playing a minor league game, which included the Birmingham Barons at Rickwood Field. And the news comes down. The announcement there, the announcement all around Major League Baseball, with the broadcasts of each individual game, of the passing of this legend. Today is Juneteenth. They have events all day long at Rickwood Field. And then tomorrow, they have the game between the Cardinals and the Giants. So this celebration of the Negro Leagues, of integration into baseball, but more importantly, really integration into society with Juneteenth. And here we are, and Willie Mays passes away. Again, the whole is fate thing. You know, Bryson DeChambeau winning 25 years after Payne Stewart won. They both went to school at SMU. He wore that fedora or whatever Payne. there's a lot of people out there who are very, very religious, a lot more religious than me, and there are some that aren't religious at all. But sometimes you think about it, you go, man, it's like fate. It's almost like Willie Mays. I'm not saying he did this, but I'm passing away. Now there's going to be even more focus on what's going on in Birmingham. But I got a chance to watch Willie Mays toward the end of his career. At the end when he was with the Mets, Eli, I mean, he shouldn't have been playing at that point. He could hardly walk. But here's a guy, you talk about a five-tool player. There's not many better, if there are any better. I mean, you look at the greatest and you look at the list, and it's always, Babe Ruth's right there. And then Willie Mays. He's either one or two on most lists. And so in the last week, we've lost Jerry West and Willie Mays. And in the last few weeks, Bill Walton, Jerry West, Willie Mays. This is sad, especially for somebody of my age, when you start to lose these legends left and right.
Yeah, you look at the numbers he put up, and it's pretty ridiculous. 940 career OPS, which is that's. And again, at the end of his career, that came down a little bit because he wasn't as good. But 660 home runs. Who knows how many home runs he would have hit had he not missed almost 2 full seasons because of military service. Certainly would have been the leader, would have hit more than Hank Aaron. In all likelihood, if he plays those 2 seasons, based on the numbers he was putting up, you could assume that he was probably going to hit another 70 or 80 based off what he did at that time, which would have put him obviously ahead of 715, and then who knows where he'd have been and if Barry Bonds would have actually passed him or not. Obviously known as one of the greatest defensive center fielder. The catch is such a famous play in baseball history. Stole over 300 bases in his career to go with the power numbers and batting average and everything else. Pretty incredible career that he put together. Instead, it's crazy to think that this happens with the game coming up tomorrow night, which features the Giants of all teams. The Giants playing at Wrigley last night. They made the announcement in the park there. Certainly, I mean we've lost, and we're going to continue. I mean, obviously, the guys are at that age now, but we are losing some of the true legends, the bigger than whatever you can imagine names in the history of sports.
The godfather of Barry Bonds, another former legend with the San Francisco Giants. You mentioned his home run total. Growing up, and baseball more than any other sport, the statistics, the history, the numbers. You remember the numbers. And everybody remembered Babe Ruth at 714, and then when Hank surpassed him at 715. But 660 was always the number I remembered for Willie Mays. Maybe because it was a nice round number, but 660. Willie Mays, home runs. Yeah, it's sad. I had a chance years ago here in Memphis to meet and talk and interview Hank Aaron, another one of the greatest of all time. And he had a connection with Memphis and Lemoyne-Owen. Willie Mays, I've had a chance to interview and talk to a lot of legends. I mean, a lot of legends in my nearly 40 years in the business, but never had the chance to talk to or see Willie Mays. He would always make the appearances at the old timers games. Lived an incredible life. I mean, we're not sad because a 93-year-old passed away. We only have so much longevity, but we're sad because he's an absolute legend, a legend of not only baseball but of sports. So it's certainly a sad day. It'll be a sad rest of the season in Major League Baseball. We'll see if Major League Baseball does anything, what they will do exactly to honor number 24, the Say Hey Kid, one of the great nicknames in sports history.
Brad texted on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line, says, I went to his movie when it came out. At the end of the movie, everyone in the theater gave a standing ovation. It was awesome.
Wow.
he is, and I have not seen the movie, but again, I mean, you could obviously Babe Ruth is a weird situation because of the pitching along with all of the historic offensive numbers, obviously playing in a little different era as well, but there's definitely an argument to be made that Willie Mays is the greatest of all time. You can, most people I think go with Ruth because of the pitching side of it, but there's no doubt. Like again, if he doesn't miss the almost 2 full seasons, certainly the home run numbers again would have passed Babe Ruth, and who knows what the total numbers would have been, but I mean, they would have certainly been probably, you may be the greatest offensive numbers in the history of the game had he played those 2 seasons.
And like you said, nobody played center field better than Willie Mays. So defensively, he was just as good as an offensive player. Babe Ruth was Paul Bunyan-esque. It's almost, you don't believe some of the stories you heard. And I'm not going to take anything away from Babe Ruth because he played before baseball was integrated. But, as I said on Twitter yesterday, you say Willie Mays is the greatest player. I am not arguing one bit. Because, again, he played when he and others of similarity of what they look like were able to break into baseball. And with Jackie Robinson, of course, breaking the color barrier, now we had baseball with all people, with everybody who was capable of playing the game at that level, whites and blacks, and then, of course, the integration of Hispanics as well. So you could say Mays played during that time when his compatriots included Roberto Clemente and, the great Orlando Cepeda. So, yeah, you can make that argument, and I'm not going to argue back. Hank Aaron was one of the greats of all time. Willie Mays, in my opinion, and I think the opinion of many, was better. Ted Williams was an unbelievable hitter. Tony Gwynn was an unbelievable hitter. But the 5-tool all-around player, it's Willie Mays. It's Willie Mays. There's still great players that are alive today that would be in the top 25, top 10, top 15. You could argue, when you look around, they're dying off, unfortunately, but you still have Mike Schmidt. You still have Johnny Bench. You still have Ricky Henderson. You still have all those great pitchers, including Sandy Koufax and Randy Johnson and Greg Maddux. But it's not the same when I watch the Hall of Fame induction ceremony and the numbers of players that are up on the stage there for their fellow new inductees are dwindling. Those numbers are dwindling. And so it's certainly sad for those, again, of my age, even your age, that you remember these guys, the baseball cards, and your legendary heroes are now dying off. And again, it's been a horrible run for legends in the last few weeks.
He led the league in home runs 4 times and led the league in stolen bases 4 times.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do.
No.
That is a pretty incredible combination to do that.
And how many Golden Gloves did he have? I would imagine he had a ton of them.
12.
Yeah.
Raider Corey says, we're all sad because, like you guys mentioned, he was a legend and icon, but more importantly, he was a good human being and a gentleman. It is, again, I mean, you see all the stuff that came in from around Major League Baseball. Like, obviously, he was certainly a beloved guy in the world and in the world of baseball. Tim Kirkjian, who is as much of a baseball historian as you could ever imagine, calls him the best. Mm-hmm. So if he's not number one, I think you would have to say he's number 2. Like he's in that top 2. Again,
he's 1 or 2.
It just depends how much you value the pitching side of it from Babe Ruth, basically, and the numbers that Ruth put up in those days. But yeah, it's hard to put him lower than 1 or 2.
Right. I know now with the influx of the stats from the Negro Leagues, people look at Josh Gibson. Certainly, Josh Gibson's way up there. But I'm sorry, I'm not going to, just because the numbers now are thrown in there, Josh Gibson will certainly be a top 10, 15 player. But he's not going to be 1 or 2, in my opinion, with Ruth and with Willie Mays. And then, of course, again, the Ted Williams of the world, the Hank Aaron's of the world, just so many great players. Now you look around, and there's not only the dwindling amount of greats, Hall of Famers that are alive. I just mentioned some of those that you can argue for the best living Hall of Famer. The oldest living Hall of Famer, according to Bob Ryan, is Louis Aparicio, which is amazing. I don't know how old he is. But as far as the best baseball player living, I mean, some will argue it's Mike Trout. When you look at lists, Mike Trout is usually in the top 20, top 15. And then down the road, who knows where a Shohei Ohtani will be or even an Aaron Judge will be. We're talking about way down the road. But again, it's just sad news. I hate opening up shows, which we're doing too much of, but you have to, right? And this is one that hits home. I remember as a kid in my baseball cards opening up a pack and getting a Willie Mays card. Now, it was not young Willie Mays. It was old Willie Mays. It was before the Mets. It was with the Giants, but it was old Willie Mays. So that card is not worth as much as you probably think. But getting a Willie Mays card was pretty amazing.
I mean, Major League Baseball, in doing this game tomorrow at Rickwood Field, like I literally couldn't have worked out. I mean, in the end, to have the Giants, like they couldn't have guessed this in a million years, to have the Giants in that game, and then it so happens Willie Mays passes away 2 days before that game is being played.
That's why, I again, some people are very religious out there. Some are not so much religious, but that's why people talk about fate an awful lot. It's almost like it was fate that this happened. And again, the ceremony for honoring the Negro League players, Juneteenth, obviously it was scheduled for this time because of Juneteenth today, but it started yesterday with the minor league game that featured the Birmingham Barons. Willie Mays played his first couple of years for what they called the Black Barons in Birmingham, from that area. Hank Aaron also from Alabama. You talk about producing great players. That state, woo! That state is way up there, if not the greatest.
I did not realize that when he played in the Negro Leagues, he was still in high school. He was playing he only played the home games so that he could also play high school football.
I didn't know that.
Like he was a 17-year-old playing in the Negro Leagues. And then obviously once he graduated from high school, every major league team, wanted him, all that stuff. But that's just
there was
got high school during the day, playing professional baseball at night. Then I can't go on the road with you guys because I got a high school football game I'm playing. It's just
right.
Talking about just craziness.
Well, and then also facing all the prejudices out there, even from his home fans, I would imagine, with all these players. If I remember correctly, and we'll see if Zach can find it during the break, and I'll play it coming back to open up our next segment. But I remember a song about Willie Mays. We'll see if we can find that.
He had his contract that he got from the Giants, a robust $4,000.
Could have retired.
Man, what a big time signing bonus. He went to that time called Class B. He hit .353. They promoted him to AAA. He hit .477 in 35 games at AAA.
His averages and his numbers go up as he goes higher and it gets tougher.
I would guess. I can't believe he played 35 games at AAA. The dude's hitting nearly 500. I'm surprised he didn't play like 10 games, and they call him up. Like, okay, I think he's ready. Like, the dude's hitting 500 down there. Like, he's probably okay to come up.
Right, but that was the day, and that continued for a long time, where for some reason they didn't call up players right away. They kept them in the minor leagues for what would be considered way too long in this day and age. And, of course, he has some of the most iconic catches of all time. The basket catch that he made, he turned around and winged that thing back into the infield. Absolutely amazing. All-Star Chevrolet, together let's drive in the summer in what we really want to drive in, a beautiful automobile from All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. It's where all the new Silverados are. Some mark 12% off invoice. Now, that's one sweet buyer's market. Financing as low as 1.9. No payments for 90 days on the new Silverados, the Trailblazers, the Equinox, and more. How about those Tahoes? Nothing beats family trips in a new Tahoe. And get this, you get an extra $500 bonus if you're a college student, a graduate, military, first responder, healthcare worker, teacher. No matter what pre-owned you're looking for, you can find it in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevy. They're having their All-American pre-owned sale right now. All the Jeeps, the Ram trucks, the Ram, they even have a Ram ProMaster cargo van. Never heard of it, but they have it. And 4Runners, all types of great pre-owned automobiles. At All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, you can test drive them all. You bring in any vehicle today, you'll get a check today. Everyone at All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch wishes you a very happy and safe 4th of July as we get ready to celebrate our country's Independence Day. So don't miss All-Star Chevy's All-American sale in Olive Branch, or go online to allstarautogroup.com. Just underway on a Wednesday, this is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square. Fun, friendly, exciting, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games, 24 taps for all your favorite beers, including NA and local craft beers, and an in-front-of-the-wall pool bar for all your other favorite beverages, including a full wine list. And in an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials, and events, and you found all your sports in the one right place. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square, Highway 70.
I've got him on the line, rockin' Ronnie Smith. And Ronnie, I hear it's the Make This the Summer event going on now at Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Field.
That's right, Randy. I've got 2024 Ram 1500 Tradesman Quad Cab 4-wheel drive, $649 a month.
Man, that is awesome. What else you got, Ronnie?
2024 Jeep Gladiator Sport 4-wheel drive, $659 a month.
That's a hot deal on Gladiator Sport. What else you got?
Get super power in a 2023 Charger RT Scat Pack, $698 a month. That's $8,600 off MSRP.
So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Field on the bike. Or shop online anytime at GossettMotorCars.net. 75 months, 5,000 down. Ram RN 194282, MSRP 48,595. Jeep RL 116172, MSRP 51,690. Charger PH 612877, MSRP 55,110. Price includes all rebates and incentives and excludes PF 695. Payments include PF 695. All exclude tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Dealer stock only.
Make your next grill your last with a Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on fuel, eating out, and replacing expensive grills that cannot match the flavor of the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
You know, sometimes I wish I had a gun.
Well, I'm armed, but before I bought one, I still went to Top Gun Academy to learn to protect myself without a gun.
How is that possible?
Top Gun's personal protection training. It's perfect if you want to protect yourself without firearms.
I don't know.
And it's perfect if you feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense, because the last thing you really want to do is shoot.
That is scary.
Not at Top Gun. It's very comfortable, and you learn to load, handle, and shoot a handgun safely. Protect yourself. Go to Top Gun Academy. They're at 2770 Winton Road.
Upgrade her diamond ring this summer with no money down and 0 interest for 5 years. Hi, it's Eric Hasseltine for my friends at Genesis Diamonds. Don't miss this amazing offer from Genesis Diamonds. 5 years, 0 interest financing. Not just on engagement rings, but also on earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstone jewelry, and pre-owned Rolex watches. So that luxury pre-owned Rolex Submariner or Explorer starts at only $150 per month. Now through the end of June at Genesis Diamonds on Poplar at Perkins Extended.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. A little bit of radar out here in certain parts of Fayette County up and down I-40 this morning. Be careful. Traffic still holding up right now. Southbound on Austin P, getting up on that ramp there to I-40. It has picked up just a bit in the last few minutes on 40 East across the Hernando de Soto Bridge, coming over from Arkansas, over from West Memphis. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry right here in the Memphis area specializes in bridal ring purchases. They've been around since 1984. They know what they're doing. Shop local and save at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy.
Swings the bats like a little lead pipe. When they reach the ball, it's overripe. Say hey, say who? Say Willie. Say hey, say who? Swing it at the plate. Say hey, say who? Say Willie. That giant kid is great.
Welcome back, everybody. 7:30 the time.
The bases like a choo-choo train. Swings around like an aeroplane. His cap flies off.
This one's a great one. I vaguely remember this one. There's another one I remember very well. I'm not a singer, so I will not try to sing it, but it went, say, hey, Willie, won't you hit one out here? I bet there's 10 songs about Willie Mays, and there should be 10 songs about Willie Mays, who passed away again yesterday at the age of 93.
There was something that happened in Major League Baseball last night that had not happened since Willie Mays was young in his career.
Which was?
The Dodgers.
I had some coin on that game. That was wild.
Dodgers scoring 7 runs in the 9th inning to win 11-9. They had lost 1,137 straight games when trailing by 5 or more in the 9th inning or later.
Wow.
1957 was the last time they made a comeback like they did last night.
Jason Hayward in a grand slam, right? And then Teoscar Hernandez?
Yes, he had a 3-run home run.
So I think the game was 7-2 Colorado. And I got good odds to take the Dodgers plus 4.5, which I did, and I won going away. They ended up winning the game. But if I had just played the Dodgers to win on the money line, it was plus 1,000.
The 1,137 straight that they had lost was the second longest streak in that situation. The Mariners are the only team that had a longer streak and have the longest streak and continue with that streak. The Mariners have actually never won a game in that situation in the history of their franchise. Dodgers had been 1,137 straight before doing that last night. Just absolutely crazy to come back and do that. I mean, you think about the Dodgers organization, all year, the fact that anything they could do that they haven't done since 1957 is pretty crazy.
It is. It is. Also last night, Aaron Judge for the Yankees got hit by a pitch in his hand. They did go ahead and MRI that, and it's negative. So good news for the Yankees, good news for Aaron Judge fans. Aaron Judge, I'm not sure if he'll miss any time, but hit by a pitch, but the x-rays were negative, and I'm not sure if they did take the MRI, but they say he's fine, and there will not be anything serious as far as a broken bone or anything in his hand. All right, moving on from baseball to the NBA, to the Grizzlies. The draft begins a week from tonight. Again, it'll be 2 rounds on 2 different days. It's always been 2 rounds since they moved it to 2 rounds on the one day. But now it's going to cover 2 days, next Wednesday and next Thursday. Jonathan Givony, the latest, saying that the Grizzlies are going to be working out, or hoping to at least, not working him out because he's hurt, but they expect to be paid a visit by Nikola Topic, and that they reportedly have worked out Cody Williams from Colorado. Again, the Grizzlies have been pretty darn mum on players that they have brought in. Back in the day, the Grizzlies would announce who was going to be in, and the media would cover it for that day. You knew exactly who the players were. Now they work in secrecy. And when the information comes out, it just probably got leaked out by an agent for the player or whatever the case may be. But Cody Williams, again, a workout, and Topic, they are expected to be paid a visit. Topic is hurt, so he can't actually work out. In the way too early NBA power rankings for next season, ESPN's way too early NBA power rankings, they list the Grizzlies at number 19 out of 30 teams. They list them number 11 in the West. Meaning, Captain Math will tell you that's 10 teams ranked ahead of them. That would mean not only would they not make the playoffs, they wouldn't make the play-in. Is this a simple, obviously it's the opinion of whoever vote on that for ESPN or write that story, but is this just simply forgetting about what the Grizzlies have after a disastrous 23-24 campaign?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of unknown. Like what is, because we didn't get a chance to see with Marcus Smart and all of that, what the Grizzlies actually are. And so, I think that's an unknown vote, basically.
Yeah, I don't think any of us here in Memphis have even entertained the thought that if Memphis is healthy, that they wouldn't be automatically competitive and one of the better teams in the West. How about if we're all wrong? How about if all these other teams have passed them by, and the chemistry that we hope will be there if Smart is retained and not traded and will be there as well? But how about if they end up being this low with the money that's committed to the big three? Nobody's looking at that as a possibility. I don't think that would happen, but it is interesting that people can come up with number 19 and number 11 in the West. I mean, there are teams certainly on the rise in the West. Oklahoma City has passed the Grizzlies. Minnesota has passed the Grizzlies. Now, it doesn't mean the Grizzlies can't pass them in turn this year. I'm just saying after last season, they passed them. But there are too many question marks out there. What's Phoenix going to do? What are the Clippers going to do? What about the Lakers? What are they going to do? By the way, I would expect that we're going to hear something today or tomorrow with the Cavaliers and the Lakers head coaching positions. I would think, because now that free agency is underway, at least for teams that can negotiate with their own players. But even New Orleans, you got question marks in Houston. What are they doing? Adams is now in the mix. What about San Antonio? What can they get to add to Victor Wembanyama? So we'll see. But it's interesting that they got him at number 19. I was surprised. I didn't expect him to be top 10, but I thought they'd probably be around 12, 13, but sitting there at number 19 with 10 teams from the West ranked ahead of them.
You mentioned on the draft thing, the Grizzlies working out Cody Williams, and that's who ESPN has in their latest mock draft the Grizzlies taking, I would be really surprised if the Grizzlies took Cody Williams.
Me too. Maybe the guy will be a great player. But please spare me. Don't sell me on Cody Williams. I don't think they're going to take him.
Yeah, I just don't think he fits where they're at. Like, to me, he is much more of a project than a lot of the guys up here at the top of the draft. And I just think the Grizzlies, in the situation they're in, they're going to be looking for somebody who theoretically can play some minutes and help the team this coming season.
Yes.
I don't think Cody Williams. Cody Williams to me would be, you're drafting him, you're looking at basically the G.G. Jackson plan of last year. Like, you're going to say, like, well, he's probably going to be with the hustle and develop there, and maybe late in the year develops into a guy who can help us. But I don't know. That one would be real surprising to me.
You don't mortgage the future, but you have to address the present. You can't be concerned with what could happen 2, 3, 4 years from now. Right now, you have to jump on what you have, which is a very talented team, and add pieces to that team to be as competitive as you can this year. And in my opinion, well, I do understand the argument from both sides of best player available versus need. Unless that best player available is that much better than everybody else, you got to go need. And that need for Memphis is a big, not necessarily a big that can step outside and shoot, because they have one in Jaren Jackson, but a big. But they also need a little more wing shooting. They can address, especially with a cloudy future for Kennard, we don't know. Bane is the consistent outside shooter. Ja is not, so you're not getting that from him. You can use another shooter. So that's the two areas, in my opinion, that they have to address. Unless, again, somebody falls to them at number 9 that is penciled to be 1, 2, or 3 and doesn't fall into either one of those categories. And I don't know who that would be. We don't know. I'm telling you, this draft is so weird that, and it is smokescreen season. I understand that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know all about Sarr. I know who he is. I know what position he plays. I've watched video of the guy. But I don't know his ins and outs. But is he that much better than Klingon? So now the talk is that maybe Atlanta takes Donovan Klingon at number 1. Capella's a free agent. He's in the market for a new team. Maybe Memphis is a suitor. But I'm not even sold 100% right now that Sarr is definitely number 1. We're into a draft where we really don't know. And so with the Grizzlies, again, they could trade up, they could trade down. I have no problem with whatever they do because it's so much up in the air. But they have questions that have to be answered, and they still have to address the big and a little more shooting. So getting somebody that doesn't fit in, and like you said, is going to be a project that's playing in South Haven, makes no sense to me.
Clint Capella is not a free agent. They're looking to trade him, but he's not a free agent.
Okay, he's on the market.
Yeah,
he's on the market.
There's been talk that they're looking to move him.
Well, again, if you're going to take Sarr, you're going to take Klingon, then you're probably going to move Capella. So that's my point, that he's probably gettable. But as far as getting another project, Memphis doesn't need another project. Memphis needs to hit a home run with this first-round pick.
To me, if they're the Grizzlies and Cody Williams, and wherever he's ranked on their board, if he's the top-ranked guy on their board, they can't move up. They're at 9th, and he's the top-ranked guy on your board. Then that to me is when you look to trade down.
Or if you have a guy that's just behind him and it's really, really close, and it fits your needs, then you take that person.
And Cody Williams shot 41% from three-point range in college, but he didn't shoot hardly any. He made less than 1 a game. And I'm not going to act like I watched Colorado a ton last year. I didn't. But the bit that I did see of him, he does not strike me at all as a guy ready to step into the NBA and play. He is a guy that to me, again, would be much more of a project than a lot of these guys that are going to be taken in the top 10 of the draft. That's why I was always surprised when some people had him talked about as the number 1 overall pick. I was like,
did they really?
During the college season, in a lot of mock drafts, he was going number 1, number 2, that type of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of raw ability there, like athleticism, all that stuff. I could see why teams would like him, but there's got to be a little, to me, more production than what he actually had to talk about being a guy that you would take number 1 overall.
Yeah, Colorado, it seems like in recent years, has sneaky talent. The Colorado gets players. I don't know what they do with it, but they get players. And those players, some have made it in the NBA, some haven't, but Colorado produces. But I'm with you. It doesn't make sense to me if that's the route they would go.
Then he had that first 4 game where he scored 0. He had 9 points in their first round game, 12 points in their second round game in the NCAA tournament. So it's not like he did not shine in the NCAA tournament, and that's why I think he kind of fell out of favor with a lot of. Again, he might be having some great workouts. Maybe he's wowing teams with workouts, and that's got him back up there. And they say basically he's worked out for every team in the top 10, and I don't know if he's working out for anybody underneath the top 10 or not. But again, maybe he's wowing in these workouts and still finds himself in the top 10, and very well could. But I hope it's not for the Grizzlies, and I don't think it will be with the Grizzlies at number 9. This time of our program is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Go to BigGreenEgg.com to get all the details on the best grill there is and the last grill you'll ever need to buy with that lifetime warranty on the Big Green Egg, the versatility of what it allows you to do. It's absolutely worth every penny you'll spend on the Big Green Egg. You don't want to have to buy a new grill every 2 or 3 years because it rusts out. The Big Green Egg, you don't have to worry about that whatsoever. And the ability to go low and slow for many hours or fire it up to 700 degrees to sear that steak, whatever you need to do with the Big Green Egg, it's very easy to do with the Big Green Egg. And they've got 7 different sizes for you to choose from, all the egg accessories as well, including rubs and sauces and all that stuff. You can find that at the Ace Hardware stores here around town and Hamilton Fireplace as well. Again, all that information and everything available on the website at BigGreenEgg.com.
All right, the latest stories that are out there about the Memphis AD search, we'll discuss that when we come back. We'll open up hour number 2 talking about ESPN's Football Power Index projections for the upcoming season. What do they have Memphis projected at? And then Parthu Pajai from the Daily Memphian at 8:25 on Memphis basketball. There is a lot going on, whether it be the roster, whether it be the coaching staff, the scheduling, all that stuff is happening right now. It seems like we can't go a day without a story or two. Parth will be here to kind of update us on everything that's going on. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sheriff in Collierville with good news for car and truck buyers. Sunrise Chevy has over 500 Chevys available with 9 models that get 30 miles per gallon. GM rebates up to $5,000 and Sunrise discounts high as $10,000. Bad credit? It's okay. You're approved at Sunrise. Immediate financing, top trading, and a $3 million used car inventory specializing in cars and trucks under $20,000. Remember, you can bring your Chevy to Sunrise for service no matter where you bought it. There's always a sale at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch. 385 in Houston Levy. Together, let's drive.
Jason's Deli. When you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises. Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it. Because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, vegan and gluten-free options available, convenience, and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com. So whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, locations at Ridgeway and Park Place Center, Whopper Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and Goodman It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Summer's heating up, and so are the savings at Choate's. We've got 3 incredible offers to make your season spectacular. First up, our Grill and Chill with Choate's Summer Special. Upgrade your HVAC system and choose between a free Yeti cooler or a Green Egg grill on select systems. Then power through any outage with Choate's generators. Be one of the first 50 customers to buy a generator and score a massive 75-inch TV or an iPad. Also, don't forget about our tankless water heater offer. Purchase a tankless water heater from Choate's and receive a premium toilet free. Don't wait. These offers are too good to last. Turn to the experts with Choate's and call 347-8086 or visit us online today for your free estimate. Now introducing Choate's air conditioning, heating, plumbing, and generators. Choate's, let our family serve your family.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
It's time to ride during the Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Summer Sales Event. Check out 43 MPG Highway in a new 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, $17,935 or $249 a month. Need extra room for your vacation? Let Gossett make it happen with 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander, $30,490 or $449 per month. And go for miles and miles with 420 total range in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV, $599 a month. Plus peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Military rebate, 500 loyalty rebate. Mirage Outlander 84 months. Mirage RHO 10934. MSRP 18435. Outlander RZO 55981. MSRP 31490. PHEV RZO 35245. MSRP 48065. Includes 1095 acquisition fee. Sale price includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes processing fee of $695. Lease terms includes processing fee of $695. 15 cents per mile excess wear and tear. With approved credit, see dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports 56 more on Sports 56. This hour brought to you
Welcome back, everybody. Before we get to the latest with the UMAD search, we've been talking a lot, obviously, about the passing of Willie Mays. I did want to read this statement from Barry Bonds, the godson of Willie Mays. This was his quote yesterday on social media. I am beyond devastated and overcome with emotion. I have no words to describe what you mean to me. You helped shape me to be who I am today. Thank you for being my godfather and always being there. Give my dad a hug for me. Rest in peace, Willie. I love you forever. Wow. Very emotional from Barry Bonds. Yesterday, we had Tim Buckley on from the Daily Memphian, and they had a story where they had named 4 candidates for the Memphis AD coaching search. Not coaching search, AD search. And they said in the article that as many as 6. And then yesterday, a news story where they added more candidates, naming now, I think, up to 7, with the possibility of as many as 10. So the names that they've brought up, I absolutely have faith that that is accurate. I just don't know if we seriously know how many candidates there are. They haven't even done interviews yet. So I don't know if we truly have a grasp on everything that's going on with this AD search. I still think it's up in the air. I do believe the candidates that we talked about yesterday, that Tim talked about, are legitimate. Monday, excuse me. These days are rolling by so fast. But that they are legitimate. Yesterday, the latest Daily Memphian story included Jeff Crane. And again, we talked about that. The conjecture, what we were talking about, more than likely, Jeff Crane's getting interviewed. I can't imagine that he's not. So that was going to be the 5th. That Dr. Adam Walker, friend of the show, that he will be a candidate. again, according to the report. And Gerald Harrison, who is the AD at Austin P. And again, there could be other names out there that have not been divulged. They have the search firm that has come up with candidates, names, and then the search committee, which is a 6-member search committee for the University of Memphis, will conduct the interviews, which should be happening this week, you would think, with the goal of having somebody in place by early July. So that's the latest as far as that's concerned. But again, it's not shocking that new names come up because nobody really knows for sure. Because the only way you would know for sure is if the search firm released names, which is not going to happen. The president of the university released names, which is not going to happen. Or the search committee, if they know all the names right now, release names. Now, they have integrity, so I wouldn't think that happened either, but it's got to be coming from somebody.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, again, I didn't really have any doubt that Jeff Crane would be on the list. Again, that'd be really weird to say, yeah, by the way, we're not even interviewing you for the job, to the guy who actually is holding the job currently on an interim basis.
Is running the show.
Certainly Adam Walker, not a surprise to see him. He's been a name that was brought up from the get-go as a possibility, as one of those names that has been here in the past, so knows the Memphis scene. Harrison is a new name, I guess, on the scene. Been Austin Peay's AD since 2018. Spent 10 years at Duke before that. Spent some time at Tennessee with their football program in the early 2000s. Guy that's been around and done some things and has AD experience at Austin Peay, but also, Power 5 experience, having spent time at Power 5 schools. So, I assume that the interviews are going to continue throughout the week, the Zoom interviews, as Tim talked about, and then they'll narrow it down some more, do some in-person interviews, and then make that decision here before too long. But a lot of interesting candidates, and I get a lot of candidates who have the previous Memphis experience, and whether that's how much that weighs in the decision, who knows? But there are a lot of interesting names that have that previous Memphis experience. So previous relationships with people here, previous relationships with the big money people in town, and kind of understand that position that Memphis is in. But you could also look at it that you want somebody with Power 5 experience. You can look at the new, fresh ideas, and coming in would be the way to go. I don't know. I don't know how they will view this and decide on which way to go.
You mentioned the candidates that have ties to Memphis. There may be a few more out there too. But there's also, as you said, with Gerald Harrison, ties to Tennessee, Ryan Alpert at Tennessee. And then who was the other name that was originally brought up who's with Ryan Alpert at Tennessee under their AD? Green? I think it's Green.
I don't know.
He's his name has been bandied about, but I don't know if that is a legitimate candidate, if there's interest there. But the point I'm making is there's also several that have connections to Tennessee. And obviously with Power 5 experience with that university in the SEC. Couple of other notes. Ole Miss's home-and-home football matchups with USC have been canceled, according to Athletics Director Keith Carter, who joined us recently. Do you have any idea why?
I do not.
That would have been nice to see.
I mean, obviously it's a different, USC going into the Big Ten. I don't know, what, and all of this. There's a lot of scheduling up in the air because of what does the SEC going to go to 9 games eventually? All that stuff. I have no idea.
That's interesting. I didn't even think about that when I saw the story originally yesterday. Yeah, USC in the Big Ten. I wonder how many matchups there is between the SEC and the Big Ten non-conference this upcoming season and in the next several years. Maybe that's something they want to get away from. I don't know. That's interesting. Also, the state of Kansas and the Kansas House passed a proposal to fund new stadiums for the Royals and the Chiefs. They got an ongoing battle there, a border war, if you will, between Kansas and Missouri for the services of those two professional sports teams.
Yeah, there's a lot of thought that, and even some of the people, the people in the legislature there in Kansas believe that basically the Royals and Chiefs are using them to get better
Leverage.
deals, and they even understand that, and that might be a possibility. You know, the Missouri people continue to say that they will have a good offer. All of this, they admit that the teams. This creates, leverage for the teams, all of that stuff. But I guess there is that possibility if Missouri can't come up with the type of deal that it takes, that they could move across the border onto the Kansas side of the city.
Coming up in hour number 2, Jonah Dillon had a story from the Commercial Appeal early this morning about ESPN's Football Power Index and their projections for the upcoming college football season, how it affects the University of Memphis. It may not have an effect on the University of Memphis, but what they think about Memphis for the upcoming season. We will discuss that on the program to kick off hour 2. Then we'll talk plenty of Memphis basketball with Parth Upadhyay from the Daily Memphian, to Michael Cole on the Grizzlies coming up at 9:05. More of your texts on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. It's breakfast time, but later on you'll be hungry for lunch or for dinner tonight. When you're thinking lunch, thinking dinner, think Corky's. They've been around Memphis for 4 decades. That delicious slow-smoked barbecue. You can dine in at any of their 4 establishments. You can drive through, no contact delivery, bring it to your home or office, or have any of the services delivered to you. When you head on over for lunch, there's a lunch special every single day. You might want to take advantage of that. You can also add a third of a rack of ribs for $7.99. That's it, $7.99 when you purchase an entree. Maybe a delicious barbecue sandwich. Maybe you want to go outside the barbecue family. How about their award-winning catfish plate or any entree? They're located at Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Don't forget, you can reserve their private party room for any occasion at either the Cordova or the Olive Branch locations. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. It's going strong at Gossett Kia on the Pike. Are you ready to ride in your new Kia with 41 MPG Highway? We Gossett! 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month, $34.99 to a signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month. And 2024 Kia Telluride LX 357 a month, both $39.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease. And get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Call Bobby J. He's ready to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Rebates and incentives. Lease includes PF 695, 650 acquisition fee, EV6 P5610964, MSRP 50,200, Telluride RG 510 849, MSRP 38305, Forte LXS RE 78169, MSRP 21820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/30/2024 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Barbara is a real Prevagen user, and this is her story.
I'm Barbara, and I'm from St. Joseph, Michigan. I'm a retired school librarian. I'm also a library board trustee, a mother of 2, and a grandmother of 2. I like to be healthy. I exercise a lot. I eat in a very healthy manner. I was working full-time, taking care of an ailing husband full-time. In short, I had an awful lot on my plate. Basically, I thought that my memory wasn't as good as it had been. I needed all the help I could get. I saw the commercials for Prevagen. I started taking it, and it helped. I noticed my memory was better. There was definite improvement. I take a supplement for my heart. Why not one for my brain? I've been taking Prevagen for a little over 5 years.
Prevagen is available in stores everywhere without a prescription. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
Everyone loves home improvement. South Haven Supply and Warehouse 51 makes it easy. A real hardware store run by 3 generations of a real hardware family where you can get it all. Whether it's repairs, remodeling, or new building, kitchens, bathrooms, tiles, tubs, vanities, sinks, mirrors, lighting, furniture, even door hardware. All the latest designs as well as timeless classics. And if outdoor fun is on your mind, they have the big green egg and accessories. South Haven Supply and Warehouse 51, 8560 Highway 51. Easy home improvement.
Everyone needs protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station. Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. We have seen some slow traffic in the last 15-20 minutes on 40 westbound coming in from Fayette County into Shelby County as you travel down I-40 westbound there around 269 Chambers Chapel. It's trying to get a little bit crowded at times on 240, especially going westbound, southbound, whatever you want to call it, there at Walnut Grove. Still looks good coming up from the south on 55 northbound up through South Haven. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
8:05 the time, hour 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings. We welcome you in or welcome you back if you were with us for that first hour. Talked a lot about the passing of the legend Willie Mays. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together, 2120 Whitten Road. That is just north of I-40. It's currently 74. It will get up to 89 today. It will mainly be cloudy throughout the day. And no chance of rain, real low chance at that, but really it's going to be just straight up clouds. Then tonight, cloudy early with some clearing expected, 71 for a low. Tomorrow we'll see some sun, we'll see some clouds, no rain, and the high temperature projected to be 91 degrees for tomorrow. Second hour of the program brought to you each and every day by James Gaddis Jewelers, your family's jeweler. I think you know by now that they are your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters. They know there's a lot of competition. They make sure there's a price point to suit everyone's budget. When you're looking for that special engagement ring, that special diamond ring, head on over to James Gaddis Jewelers, and they will give you the right information that you need to make that very important choice. You look for beautiful engagement rings, they have variety. I mean, I'm talking about engagement rings that go from $5,000 to $50,000 and all types of beautiful diamonds. They have the wedding rings, the personally designed wedding sets. It's right there for you. A lot of folks will be getting married this summer and this fall. So when you're thinking engagement rings, think James Gaddis Jewelers. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at Gaddis Jewelers, GaddisJewelers.com.
On that Ole Miss USC scheduling, USC does have Notre Dame still on the schedule for both of those seasons. So my guess is that USC is looking at this and going, wait a second, we're playing a Big Ten schedule plus Notre Dame. Do we really want Ole Miss as well? Now, this year they are playing LSU and Notre Dame. But my guess is they're like, that's probably not the smartest route for us to go, to play Notre Dame, another Power 5 school, and play in the Big Ten if we're going to try and make the playoffs.
It's brutal. It's brutal. So do you know for sure that it was USC that pulled the plug?
No, I don't know, but I'm just guessing that because if in 2026 now, Ole Miss, I think the SEC still has the rule that you have to play a Power 5 opponent in your non-conference. Now, granted, by
expansion of the
by
playoff?
2026, they might be playing 9 conference games. Like that could change, and that I don't think might get rid of that rule altogether. And who knows if they go to 9 conference games?
But they also may expand the playoff. There might be more playoff spots. It might be 16 by 2026, right? They only have a 2-year deal.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't do with the schedule.
I'm just saying for a team that's looking at it, they're going, wait, there's more playoff positions, there's more playoff spots. I could play a tougher schedule.
But I'm saying for Ole Miss right now, they would have to add a Power 5 school for 2026 based on the current rule, because that was their Power 5 opponent for the 2026 season.
No, I understand. So I was talking about USC.
They already have Wake Forest. They had Wake Forest for 2025 along with USC, so they are fulfilling that obligation that year. But for 2026 now, they would need to replace USC with a Power 5 opponent. If indeed, I think the SEC still technically has that rule of playing a Power 5 in your non-conference.
So ESPN's Football Power Index, and this is a story that Jonah Dillon, our buddy, had early this morning from the Commercial Appeal, so I'll give him credit for the story, but it comes from ESPN's story itself on the FPI. It projects the Memphis Tigers football team to win 8 games. Not 9, not 10, not 11, 8 games. They right now currently have them at number 66 in the FPI. They have a 7.9% chance of making the playoff, according to the FPI. Third best chance to win the American Conference. Not even the first or second best chance to win the American Conference. Why? Well, I can tell you why. The 3 opponents that are expected to battle with Memphis to win the American Conference championship are all road games for Memphis. So again, statistically, it's going to be hard for Memphis. Statistically. Doesn't mean that Memphis isn't going to get it done, because on paper, you look at the roster, and they have the best roster in the conference. But that means you have to be up for every single game. You can't have a letdown. But overall, you have Boise State. You even have UTSA that have a higher FPI than Memphis. But I can't even imagine, years ago, 8 wins for Memphis football was pretty good. You were easily going to a bowl game. Now, 8 wins doesn't cut the mustard. Not after winning 10 last year and winning the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game, with the projections this year of at least getting to the conference championship game and the possibility of being in the first ever 12-team playoff. I can't imagine the conversation if they only get 8 wins.
It would, depending on where those losses are, how those losses come, all that stuff. But certainly, no, it would not be. That would be a very disappointing season. I mean, their over-under right now is, I think, at 9.5 at pretty much every place that you can find it. So winning 8 games would be a massive disappointment and would fuel the fire of those that are not big fans of Ryan Silverfield, even after what happened last year.
And again, these are statistics thrown into a computer, and they come up with this. This is a bunch of people who have had conversations and evaluated the conference. Because when the preseason rankings come out, especially with Media Day, I don't think there's any question that Memphis will be picked to win it. Could they be second to Tulane? Possibly. But I think they'll be picked to win it. But here again, they're given the third best chance statistically to win the American Conference Championship. If you're the third best statistically and that came to fruition, you don't even make the conference championship game. And I can't even imagine that with all the hoopla and the talk and the conversation and how the team has absolutely embraced it. So again, these are just numbers. It's a nice conversation piece to have, a topic during the slow time in the early part of the summer, even though technically we're not in summer. It is interesting nevertheless because I guess a lot is given to teams playing at home, the home field advantage. Because, again, Memphis goes to UTSA. Memphis goes to Tulane. Memphis plays at South Florida. They play the better projected teams in the conference all on the road.
Bill Connolly on ESPN, who does, he does the analytics-based stuff as well. In his preview of the AAC, he has Memphis with a 33.9% chance of winning the conference title, which is 13% better than Texas San Antonio, who has the second best odds.
So he is a much, much better than what the FPI from ESPN has. Much better odds to win it. And, of course, Memphis last year was able to do a pretty darn good job winning on the road. Now, again, Tulane, and that game was that game here? That game was here, right? Because they're in New Orleans for Thanksgiving. So on the road, they had tight ones. They had those tight games against UAB, Charlotte, North Texas, but were able to pull them all out. Now, if they're close games, you're hoping they can pull it out against Tulane, Texas San Antonio, an improved South Florida team. But here's the thing. Hopefully Memphis's talent is that much better than everybody else in the conference that they don't come down to a final drive where they have to stop an opponent or have to score themselves. Hopefully they're in better position that they have put this game to bed somewhat earlier in the fourth quarter, if not the end of the third or whatever the case may be, where you know that going in, you just do your thing and you've won this game. Not that you have to come back and have a 90-yard drive to win it or stop a team that has half the field to go to kick a field goal to win it. They were in those precarious situations last year, and they prevailed. A little bit tougher this year to do it on the road at those venues. Memphis owes Tulane one or two, and hoping to get it back this year. But don't think just because Michael Pratt has finally moved on to the NFL and they have a new coach, with Summerall coming in, he's a good coach. They lost a good one, and Willie Fritz, a really good one. But Tulane is good. They went out. They did a good job in the portal. They got some talent. UTSA is interesting. I think they've always been good under their coach, but they lose a long-time, 7-year quarterback. And then, like I said, South Florida starting to pump a little money into it. I think that they could be very competitive. And there's a couple of other schools on the fringe that has some money. Charlotte's putting money into the program. I don't know if they're ready to go yet. I don't know about Florida Atlantic pumping money in, but they are paying Tom Herman, who's a well-respected head coach.
And on that ranking, I will let people know, too, like when you're talking about these FPI and the win total number, they don't have anybody in the country projected to win over 10.8 games. Oregon at 10.8 wins is their highest win total they have projected. These win totals come out when you're doing this. Like Ole Miss, they have at 7.9 wins. So the win totals are going to be lower when you do this type of stuff.
Interesting with Oregon. I'm guessing.
Like Georgia's at 10.3, Ohio State's at 10.2. Texas is at 10 even. Alabama's at 9.3.
Right. I'm guessing, though, with Oregon being the highest at 10.8, they project them losing once to Ohio State. Do they play Ohio State during the regular season? Or are they projecting a loss in the Big Ten championship to Ohio State. That's the only one I could think of, right? Who does Oregon
Again,
play?
it's not like in this type of stuff, it's not projecting a certain loss to a certain team. It's just based on the numbers. This is what you're likely the number to win. I mean, you're not saying it's going to be, this is the game they're going to lose.
No.
It's based on these statistics. You're probably going to win about 10.8 games.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I know they're not directly saying what games they're going to win and what games they're going to lose, but if the numbers spit out 10.8, Captain Matt tells you you've won 11 games and you've lost 1. During the regular season, I assume, they're not talking about a conference championship game. So I'm just curious if Oregon's even playing Ohio State. Is it on Ohio State's schedule now that Oregon's a part of the Big Ten? I can't imagine. In other words, I'm looking at the Big Ten, and I'm looking at these additions.
Like these things, like they don't even equal 12. Like they have them at 10.8 and 1.8.
Well, that's weird.
Again, I mean, this is all just, it's like, I'm saying, don't put a whole lot into FPI.
I don't put a lot of stock into any of this stuff.
It's just, again, this is like when we talk about Ken Pom during basketball season. When he goes through and projects every game of the season, and he only has a team losing 3, but then in his overall record, he has them with 7 losses. Because while he doesn't this is the games he would pick them to win, but the odds will tell you they're not going to win all of those that I tell you they're going to win, and they're going to just statistically, it's more likely that they come out with this number of wins and this number of losses when you're just basing things on stats.
Although Ken Pom was right on with Memphis basketball. We kept looking at Ken Pom and going, "You got to be crazy! They're not losing that many games," and they ended up doing it. I mean, I'm not sure if they hit it exactly what his number was, but I remember talking about that each and every week going, wow, there's no way. And it ended up happening. And he had him not making the tournament. They don't make the tournament. But I'm sure while he was right on that, he's wrong on other things as well. Yeah, look, it's a conversation piece. It's an interesting conversation to have during a slow time that, again, this FPI system, this index projects 8 wins for Memphis and projects them as the third best chance to make it to the American Conference Championship game. When we're looking at Memphis going, wait a minute, they don't make the conference championship game, that's a big problem because the projection from everyone around here is they're going to win the conference championship game, they're going to be the representative of the group of 5, and they're going to the 12-team playoff. Easier said than done. Speaking of playoffs and championships, the UFL championship game on Sunday in St. Louis, a blowout 25-0 win for Birmingham over San Antonio. 1.6 million viewers. Up 38% from last year's USFL championship and up 11% from last year's XFL championship. So while it was a blowout, while St. Louis wasn't playing, and I guess that wouldn't matter television-wise, but it would certainly with the crowd, 1.6 million, they got to be extremely happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, they've been happy all year with the television ratings. And Moose Johnston talked about the fact that their big goal this offseason is to grow the fan bases in these cities to help out attendance. Talked about the fact that last year there was a lot of hurdles they had to overcome because of the late official, completion of the merger, where some of these places had basically a week to sell tickets for their openers. Now they've got a full off season where they hope to be able to really build that connection and build fan bases within the city to help their attendance. And again, they understand that there were some issues that hurt attendance last year, and they're hoping that with that full off season to do it, they can help those this year.
When we come back, we shift our attention to Memphis basketball. Some names have popped up as possible additions, including a familiar name for Penny Hardaway as he continues to fill out his roster. Also, last night, the Shelby County Pro-Am League returned. Several players of local interest involved in that. Parthu Pajai was there for that. We'll talk to him about that. We'll talk to him about the Tigers, all the moves that are being made with Penny Hardaway's coaching staff. Parthu Pajai from the Daily Memphian is next. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
For retro cruiser styling packed with modern innovations, riders of all skill levels choose a Honda Rebel. Incredible motorcycles with a stripped-down style and a full package of features. Both the 300 and the 500 offer compact power inside a lightweight frame. Combined with a low slim seat, the Rebel is easy to start on. And with new colors for this year, they are impossible to ignore. Go to DeSoto Honda to check out the 2023 Honda Rebels. Cruisers with premium style and performance to enjoy every second. Use the street as a racetrack with a long with your
There are many real estate companies out there, but then there's Banyan Tree Realtors on the Cottonville Town Square. There are hands-on, family-owned boutique real estate companies whose agents have been offering exceptional attention to their clients for over 40 years. In an ever-changing world, Banyan Tree continues to maintain a small-town personal charm while providing a worldwide connection through its internet marketing presence. Personal service will never go out of style at Banyan Tree Realtors. Their agents are people you can trust, offering service you deserve. From residential homes to commercial properties, farmland, land lots, and historical houses, Banyan Tree has the expertise you can rely on. So if you're downsizing, upsizing, moving in, or moving on, give Banyan Tree Realtors a call today. Craig Smith and Mary Jean Smith and their agents are ready to serve you. Call today at 901-620-8920 or 901-359-2520. Genesis has the lowest interest rates on the planet because we never stop thinking about it. Financing on any purchase of tennis bracelets, 5-star rings starting at only $35 for a score here at Diamond Stud earrings, just $115. Spread your payments over 5 years. Zero interest. Pendants, bands, huge jewelry, and products, watches, leggings, held back now for June 30 only at Genesis Diamonds. Extend on True Credit. See store for details.
The light is fading, your hands are sore, and the last tool's been put away. Now's the time to feel the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. But when you get your tools from Harbor Freight, something about the job feels a little different. Your wallet. Because we believe that everyone deserves hard-working tools at hard-working prices. And that's what we have here. So, whatever you do it for us at Harbor Freight.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home in Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. There was some rolling roadblocks. Had it slow a little bit earlier on 40 westbound. They're around Chambers Chapel, Canada Road, slowing down that traffic flow that was coming in from Fayette County into Shelby County. Still moving right now to South Haven. It's just a little bit busy there at times on 55 all the way up to Brooks. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry right here in Memphis specializes in bridal ring purchases. They have since 1984. Shop local and save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 8:26 the time, hour 2 here on Sports 56 mornings. We have been talking a lot about the University of Memphis, whether it be the AD search, projections for football. We're going to get into basketball hot and heavy here in just a moment. Also, obviously, the big story from yesterday, the passing of a legend, 93-year-old Willie Mays, one of the greatest not only baseball players but athletes of all time. We discussed that on the program, as you would imagine. Also, the Grizzlies and the ESPN's way too early power rankings for next season, where they have the Grizzlies number 19 going into the season, going into the offseason, first of all, with the draft starting 1 week from today. All that noise you're hearing is our friend Parthu Pajai, who joins us here in studio from the Daily Memphian, the Memphis Tigers award-winning beat writer, who has been very busy, very active. We say this every time you're here. There just is no off-season for Tigers basketball, is there?
No, it's like something new every day, something new every week, as far as a storyline or something to follow or whatever it may be.
It's been strange because there's been a lot of stories that have come out. Some are accurate. Some are, I'm not talking about from you, but just stories and reports that are out there on social media. Right. Some are accurate, some are not. But what we're not getting is really much from the man himself, from the horse's mouth.
Yep.
Penny has been very quiet. He's keeping things close to the vest. We still don't have a complete picture of his staff yet. What's your take on Penny and the way he's going about his business this offseason as opposed to past?
Yeah, I think, and we saw a little bit of this 2 seasons ago where he went from, wanting all the smoke earlier in his tenure here to kind of going about things quietly and playing things under the radar. And it worked out well, right, in that 22-23 season where they had success, more success than people projected, and they, outdid the hype, so to speak. And last year you may have seen a little bit of a reversion, with kind of more hype than what the season ultimately delivered. So I think he's going back to kind of that under the radar, quiet, less talk, more work type mentality. But that doesn't help, when there's rampant speculation about various things surrounding the program, like you just said.
With the staff, we had the Mike Davis stuff out there. Like, do we have any more grip on exactly how this is going to look like, who the actual assistant coaches are going to be?
I don't think we do at this point in time, no.
All right, let's go over some of the names and some of the stories, sure, because I don't know which ones you've reported, other people have reported. Okay, and I'm also curious, a staff that big, is it all coming from the University of Memphis, their salaries, or does Penny actually dip into his own wallet for certain people? I'm not talking about assistant coaches.
Right.
I mean, there's 30 dudes on that staff.
No,
so
there are. Yeah.
Darby Rich is now confirmed gone for a second time. Great guy.
Correct.
Great guy. He did a great job. We'll miss him. He's just a fun guy to talk to. But he left to go originally to Texas Tech, was at Memphis, came back, and now is going to the University of Texas.
Yes.
So what have you heard about a replacement as far as strength and conditioning, which is so pivotal for this team, especially at this time of the year? Have you heard of any candidates, any names out there?
I have not for that role. I know there were murmurs about other additions to the staff, whether it be Nolan Smith and a potential assistant role from Louisville. I did happen to check in on that one, and there is obviously legs to that, as we know has been reported a couple weeks ago or last week, whenever that was. But as far as a strength coach in particular, no, I have not heard any chatter on that one.
Okay, we'll take it one at a time. So right now, we believe we know this. I don't know if we know anything because Penny hasn't confirmed anything. Rick Stansbury's back, lead assistant. He's back in his spot. Pretty powerful position. Penny will lean on him. Andy Borman's gone. Okay?
Correct. Yep.
Faraji Phillips will not be an assistant, but will be on the staff? What are we hearing about him?
According to the same report that you and I probably are referencing, yes, he seems to be still on the staff, but not in an assistant role. I'll tell you, though, I was in the facility last Thursday when DeAndre Williams had that open workout for media members there. And Faraji Phillips was there. Demetrius Dyson was there. So there were guys there that, were on the staff last year, which obviously aligns with the reports we've seen about those guys being retained. And of course, the names we mentioned that have departed were obviously not there.
Jermaine Johnson's an interesting cat because he's been up and down with spots on the front row, back row, out of the building.
Brought back mid to late season, like.
He seems to be. I mean, he seems to be like the one guy that Penny just trusts.
Right.
It's like, is that fair to say? Like,
I think him and Faraji Phillips, yeah, absolutely. I think so.
But Jermaine is a defensive-minded guy, right? Isn't he? He's known for his defensive tactics. So, again, rumor, speculation, who knows, that Jermaine could be back up there on the front row. That would be Rick. That would be Jermaine if that was the case. And you said
with one vacant spot left there.
Which, again, Nolan Smith's name has popped up, the former Dookie, the former NBA player.
Right.
Does that have legs?
Nolan Smith joining the staff, yes, that does have legs. I can say that with certainty. With what role he'll occupy, whether it be a lead assistant role or a different kind of staff role, I'm not sure about that in particular.
So the Mike Davis situation, what is he going to be? Basically, would it be more like a consultant? Like, any idea of what role he will be in?
I do not. I believe it's supposed to be a consultant type role. Somebody kind of taking a little bit of a backseat compared to the three assistants, but not sure with certainty.
So almost like what Larry, not when Larry Brown started at Memphis, but the next year, and then he ended up leaving all that. He was more
an advisor, right?
Yes.
Is that what they called him? An advisor?
Yeah. So more of that position.
He was only there for a month. Like I got here in September of 2022, and he was out of here by October.
But he was there the year prior as a regular assistant coach, as the lead assistant coach.
Yep.
A position that's been held by a lot of people. Now Rick Stansbury, Frank Haith, these guys have held
carousel
that
of yeah.
Absolutely. So if Mike is on the staff, and then Andre Turner, who leaves Lane College as the head coach, former head coach at Mitchell, great guy, friend of the show, and a former Tiger great. This has been out there for several months,
right?
That he's going to be a part of the staff, but again, not an assistant coach per se.
And the school hasn't announced it yet. Isn't that odd? Actually,
they haven't announced anything.
I saw him Thursday. He's one of the guys I said hey to Thursday at the facility. So, you walk in there and you see guys that haven't been announced or that haven't been even talked about aside from these reports on social media. It's just strange, man. Like, why would you not put something out about his hire? Why is it not official yet? I'm not sure.
Several other staff members will not be retained.
Yeah, we've already named, 3, right?
Yeah, but there's also Andy Pennington.
Yes, he will not be retained. I can.
There's also Kelly.
Garrett Kelly, director of basketball
Garrett
operations.
Kelly.
He's gone as well. And then Andy Borman, you mentioned, is
Andy
gone.
Borman.
Darby Rich, that's 4. And then you've got a entirely new roster. So, almost every face in that building's new, right? If you're just counting down the list.
Yeah, the one consistent is you got your head coach.
There you go.
Which is very rare to think about where Memphis is as an athletic department. You have a football coach and a basketball coach that have been here a long time.
Yeah.
Some say good, some say bad, whatever the case may be, whichever perspective you take.
Sure.
But I think in this day and age, when you have coaches who've always been moving around, right, looking for the best opportunity, and now players move around looking for the best opportunity, you have actual stability at the University of Memphis with your head coaches.
Yeah, getting those, Penny's going into year 7. So having somebody, that's pushing a decade, certainly that's good, right? In today's world of college athletics, especially at a place like Memphis, where we've seen coaches kind of, use this job as a stepping stone, not necessarily for basketball, but for football and other sports.
For a lot, yes, in the athletic department,
right, exactly.
At coaches, yeah, absolutely, players now.
On the players' side, so you had the story about Jonathan Lawson. So what is the situation with Jonathan Lawson?
Yeah, he tells me that he's down to, he didn't name an exact or give an exact number of how many schools he's down to, but he's down to a list of finalists that includes Memphis, which I was a little bit surprised to hear, Tulane, New Mexico State, and others. And he says he's making a decision in the next a week and a half to 2 weeks. He's been back in Memphis since early May from Creighton. And he's kind of told me that, he went out there and he has no regrets of going out there, but obviously the role that he was given, which was a very minuscule one, played less than 3 minutes a game, I believe, less than 4 minutes a game, was not the one that he expected. They had some guys that, according to Jonathan, were supposed to go pro who didn't, whether it be Baylor Shireman or other guys there who play the wing position that Jonathan does, and it just didn't kind of work out for him there. And it was far from home. He said that was a challenge as well. I think Omaha is, an 11-hour drive from Memphis, so it's not like, his folks were coming to every single game there by any means.
Must have been tough, too, because he was playing...
Well, that would seem to eliminate the New Mexico.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He's talking about
Omaha's so far away. I'm considering New Mexico.
Right?
I don't. Has
he looked at a map?
I don't think we have a direct flight from Memphis International to wherever, Albuquerque. So at Creighton, he's on the team with Mike Miller's son, who he played with
at Houston
and won a state championship, and was a major part of that.
Yep.
And then he's here at Creighton, and he's probably wondering, wait a minute, I'm as good as that guy. We played together. We won a state
100%.
championship. I'm not even getting any minutes.
100%.
So, I mean, the Lawson family ordeal in college basketball, I mean, you could write a book about that. I mean, there's, Keelan, we've had him on so many times to talk about, because Tulane, there's the connection with Tulane and the Lawsons.
And now Tulane's a finalist for Jonathan again.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Another Lawson, right?
That's why I brought that up. Yeah, I mean, there's that connection. But Memphis needs, I've always liked Jonathan Lawson, and I was not happy that it didn't work out here.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's not as well-rounded as he needs to be as a player, but he can shoot the three ball. Now, you were there last night. Of course, it's the
7 of 12 last night. He was going crazy. No, I mean,
were they playing any defense last night?
They were playing some defense. And he was just going, like berserk, right? Like he hit 4 threes in the first 4 minutes of the game, and people's jaws are on the floor in that building. It was crazy.
It's the Shelby County Pro Am League, which we'll talk to you in a few minutes about. But yeah, I mean, one of the things that they need help with is more wing scoring.
Yep.
May not be in a starting role, but I would imagine that he can get minutes. He said, according to your story, that Penny has hit him up a couple of times. So Penny seemingly wants him.
Yeah. No, I mean, Penny, and he said Jermaine Johnson's been in contact, and they've been in contact for about, much of the offseason, really. He said over a month, close to 2 months, they've been talking back and forth. He's just Jonathan has taken a while to decide what he wants to do. And I think now he's saying he's waiting to see how he kept it vague, but how things shake out for certain rosters among his finalists. So whatever that means.
Joe Cooper, which became a pretty cool little story for a short period of time last season. It's amazing it gets this much legs, a walk-on basketball player, but you guys all do a great job in covering Memphis, and fans want to know every little thing that's happening with that program. So Cooper's the latest, and he will not be with the team.
He will not. Nope.
And I don't know if it was your article or another article that quoted Rodney Newsom, who's his stepfather,
teammate of Penny's, obviously in the 90s, Elite Eight.
What's the quote that they didn't care about him, or they didn't show any? Yeah.
I didn't write that story, but I did see Rodney's post on Facebook, I think, and I'm paraphrasing here. It was something along the lines of he didn't feel wanted.
He didn't feel wanted.
That's kind of the gist of what the message was.
Yeah, it's just
it's bizarre, man.
It's very bizarre. This has been the most bizarre off season I can remember, and I've been covering Memphis basketball since the 95-96 season.
But
he's a walk-on. He's not a scholarship guy.
Okay, but again,
he's a legacy almost. Right?
He is a legacy. No, not almost. He
not
is a
blood,
legacy.
but yeah.
But I mean,
stepfather.
He calls Rodney his dad, right?
Okay.
He calls him his father.
Why? I mean, you could understand why he would not feel wanted. Like Petty's done that with other guys.
Oh no, I understand.
What's so bizarre about this?
But I don't understand.
It's the MO.
Because Penny and Rodney, I assume, are close.
We would assume they're close.
That Penny would be there for Joe. He's a walk-on. He's not some scholarship player. And all of a sudden, they're not paying it. Maybe Joe thought that the few games he played in, that he showed enough to be
given a scholarship,
or maybe being more part of the future plan. Who knows what's going on? But when I look at this team, and now yesterday was the Okoji news. You talked about
2 days
that
ago. Yes,
2 days ago.
Yeah.
The time is
it's hard to keep up, man. So
Parth,
my head's spinning, man.
Yesterday I was 30 years old. I'm a lot older now, in just one day. So Okoji's out seemingly till the start of the season.
They said 4 months.
Who knows if he'll even be a factor, right? I mean, when you're out that long. But every player that's out there in the portal, not every player, but every significant name that's still out there in the portal that has come up
Yep.
Memphis seems to have been at least mentioned with them. Again, whether those reports are true or not, it's not coming from the university. They've been linked to some of these guys.
Correct.
They haven't gotten any of these. Again, who knows if they offered? Who knows if they really went after them? But they haven't been. What it tells me, if though there's truth to that, is that, and especially there's truth here, obviously Penny wants Jonathan Lawson, that he is not completely sold on his roster. He likes his guys, but he's not completely sold that he has enough.
Yeah, I mean
that's what it tells me.
No, and I think that's clear to even us, right? Like there's still at least 3 spots open. You know, he's brought in 7 scholarship transfers who were signed. The university has announced those signings, so those are locked and loaded, if you will. Nicholas Jourdain's back, that's 8. Jared Harris, the freshman, the 4-star freshman guard, he's been signed since November, so that's 9 players that are signed. You got 13 total scholarships, obviously, to use every year. Daniel Vieira Tuck, I think I'm pronouncing that last name correctly, from kid originally from Texas, played in Portugal, is in Portugal right now, is overseas right now playing basketball. He has committed but not signed. I'm not saying that he's not going to be here, but the fact that he has not, put pen to paper yet, the university has not announced his signing yet, take that for what you will. So they've got at least 3, if not 4 scholarships open. So it's, it's reasonable for Penny to think that, hey, he doesn't have enough because he's a couple injuries away from not having enough, right?
That's the key right there.
Well, I would assume that, yes, you want to, 9, 10 guys, yeah, you can't really go into the year with that. And it's not like you need to save them for next year because I'm going to guess that all of these guys, or most of them, will be gone next year, and you'll be putting together a whole new roster again next year.
They've brought some guys in with multiple years of eligibility, whether it be P.J. Haggerty or Baraka Koji.
Yeah, but
they did that in the past, and they all left.
Will they stay?
If Haggerty has, I think that's the hope, right?
Look, Haggerty had an unbelievable year at Tulsa, enough to elevate him to play for Memphis, which is, let's be honest, it's even though they're in the same conference, it's a tier above.
And he started at
Tulsa.
TCU, so he's kind of
okay. I didn't realize that, but
didn't play much at all there, but started.
But he proved himself at Tulsa. Goes up to Memphis. If he has this outstanding year, let's say he's the player of the year in the American Conference, you don't think like some of those big
Blue
time
Bloods,
Calipari's not going to go after him at Arkansas.
Yeah.
That's his point, and his point's well taken because it happens. This is the world we live in right now. But it doesn't matter. These coaches still have to win and win big, no matter what this. You can't use it as an excuse because everybody's
dealing with it. Yep.
Everybody deals with that.
Yep.
Any other names out there as far as the portal? I know the kid from Kansas State's name has popped up. That has been refuted by several people that it's not going to happen. Kaluma?
Yeah, Arthur Kaluma. Memphis, did make contact. And then there was conversations, there was mutual interest there even, I would say. But obviously that has not come to fruition. I think the asking price kind of his camp, from what I was told, went incrementally up and up and up to a point where Memphis didn't feel comfortable engaging anymore.
Right.
And that kind of has fallen off. And you saw reports earlier this week that he's going to visit SMU. So I guess
they have money. We know that now.
They do have money.
They've found their way to the ACC. Any other names out there?
Glenn Taylor. I'm sure you
yes,
saw that report.
Ohio, St. John's.
St. John's. He's going to be on a visit sometime this week. I know Memphis, at least last I checked, felt good about getting that one done on the visit. But these things are so fluid, man. Like 1 minute you're hearing, hey, we're going to get this thing done. And the next you're hearing, the price is too high. So you just don't know until, things are actually
What a world
cemented.
we live in. There was a story yesterday, and again, forgive me if it wasn't with the Daily Memphian. There's so many stories out there yesterday, but about the centers or the bigs for Memphis, that Memphis has like maybe their best collection of bigs. Do you agree with that?
I think it's the most versatile skill set, right, across the board in terms of, you got Musa, who's a elite shot blocker. You've got Dane Danger, who's interior scorer. So you've got guys who can do different things. So I think there's a lot to offer there. I think it's way too early to say it's the best collection of bigs when you've had Jalen Dern come through this program, right?
Yeah,
come on.
I just don't know.
Yeah.
But Danger 2 years ago got playing time and put up some numbers.
Yep.
But he was out of the mix for the reason we hear is that they ran a different style, so it didn't suit his. Musa, we saw Musa. We've seen he's a shot blocker. He's a defensive guy. He's physical, but he's not. I mean, he has bad hands. He's not a scorer, so you're not going to get anything down low from him. Jourdain's going to probably move more to a wing position, right? Like a 4, play a
like a stretch 4. I think Penny described it as a wing, but I don't. Maybe I just don't see him. Being a small forward, but he can shoot the 3, and he can do a lot of things that a wing type player would do.
And then Smith, Tyreek Smith,
elite offensive rebounder, shot
Yes.
blocker, kind of
Energizer guy.
Exactly. Kind of gritty, does the dirty work type of guy. Yeah.
All right. Well, you probably missed 2 stories since you joined us 12 minutes ago. Keep up the great work. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all.
He is Parthu Pajai. He's the Memphis Tigers beat writer for the Daily Memphian, Memphis Tigers basketball. Follow him on Twitter at PUPadhyay. That's PUPADHYAYA_. We will take a break, come back, wrap up hour 2. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Five Ash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today at 01-382-2363 or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
All 650 acquisition fee, Telluride RG 510849, MSRP 38305, Forte LXS RE 780 169, MSRP 21820. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and licensee dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/30/2024 with approved credit dealer stock only.
Hey, Jeff, I hear you've got the Kia Summer Sticker Sales event going on right now at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. Give me some scoop.
Randy, the scoop is I'm ready to put you in a new Kia for less. 2024 Kia Forte LXS 41 MPG Highway, $199 a month. $34.99 do it signing. How about a 2024 Kia Telluride LX 357 a month? $39.99 do it signing, 24-month lease.
Plus 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9. And every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
Gossett Kia South, 2680 Mount Moriah, or online anytime. KiaMountMoriah.com.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
We ran out of time with Parth because I could have talked a lot more about the Shelby County Pro-Am League. We mentioned that it got underway yesterday, but I don't know all the particulars as far as when they're playing the games. And I think it's at Crosstown, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure who exactly played last night, but I know obviously Jonathan Lawson played. But some of the names that will be participating, whether they played last night or not, Adonis Thomas, Lester Hudson. Jeremiah Martin was back. I think he did play last night. Quentin Grimes was there because he's back working out with Penny Hardaway in the offseason. But a lot of other familiar faces and familiar names to the Memphis area playing in their version of a summer league, whether it be professionals or whether it be college players involved in this thing. So I'm sure, man, back in the day when they used to have it over at Southwest Tennessee. What was the old name? What was the old name, Zach, of the college?
What is it, Shelby State?
Shelby State, yeah. When I first started in television and going over and covering summer leagues at Shelby State and having guys like Lorenzen Wright play in it and Cedric Henderson, and it was fun. So they got the names, and again, I'm not sure exactly the details when, if there's entry, if you have to pay to get in, admission, or it's free to the public. I would imagine it's free to the public. I'll try to get more information. Maybe I'll reach out to my buddy, Will Coleman. I think he's involved in this, probably help put it together, knowing Will, and see if we can get some details on that.
Well, we've got another opening now in the NBA coaching circles as Monty Williams, according to Woj, has been fired by the Pistons. Trajan Langdon coming in there and cleaning house. They only owe him $65 million to not coach them, so it seemed like a great deal.
Do you remember when we were talking about something about, I don't know if you'll remember this, about 4 weeks ago, and I slipped up and I said, Detroit, Monty Williams is out of a job. Maybe he'll go to Los Angeles. That's what I said. Maybe you remember this, Zach? I said, Monty Williams, maybe he'll go to the Lakers. And then you said, Monty's still the coach of the Pistons. I forgot. I was like, oh, why did I think Monty was fired? Maybe there was some kind of speculation out there that was in the back of my mind because now it's come to fruition. That's crazy.
You must have had a dream about that or something.
Something. That is very, very strange. Here we are in mid-June. We are a week away from the draft. And I know Trajan Langdon has been in that position for all of, a month? And let's go Monty Williams. So it's Monty's fault.
He's come in. I mean, Trajan Langdon's come in and, he got rid of Weaver. He's got, he's making moves. He's going to build the franchise in the way he wants to build it. And obviously they've given him the permission to do that, even if it costs him $65 million for a guy not to coach the team. They have completely given Trajan Langdon the keys to the franchise and said, here, do something with this.
They have. I mean, again, his prerogative. If he has that option to do so, he's decided to do so. Who am I to second guess it? But, poor Monty Williams. Again, I don't know what you would expect with all those young players, sprinkled in with a few veterans, trying to mesh those guys together. Of course, they got off to one of the most awful starts. Was it the worst?
You're being sarcastic with the poor Monty Williams, right?
No, yes, I'm being sarcastic about that. I'm just saying that the season last year, did they break the record or come up short as far as the losing streak?
They set the record.
They did set the record, yeah. And then, they tried to patch things and get a win here or there, but they had so many issues. But then again, it's a young team. It's talented. They got to figure out Langdon and whoever he brings in and the other people, the top brass in that front office, what direction they're going to go in. I mean, if every year you have a top pick and you're going to put together this unbelievably young team, well, you have to figure out what to do with bringing in veterans. And they had Bogdanovich, who was a veteran player, who they traded, right, to the Knicks. They have 3 centers, for goodness sakes. But and then for a while there, Ivy was playing, starting at point guard at the beginning of the year. Then he was benched. Then he wasn't even playing at all. Then he was coming off the bench. You have Cade Cunningham. You have the twins. You got the one twin. You have Asar or Amen.
I don't remember which one.
Thompson. I mean, there's so much young talent on that team. Of course, the centers with Jalen Duren leading the way. That's why with the 3 centers that they have, Duren, Wiseman, Stewart, I might be missing somebody, that they think maybe Duren is expendable in a good trade for them, where they pick up a veteran player, they pick up some draft picks. I don't know what it would take, but maybe you can get, if you're Memphis, a Jalen Duren in a trade. I'm sure that has been discussed in the front office and maybe even pursued. Possibly.
And Trey Langdon's wasting. He is doing his thing. If I'm Monty Williams, I am headed to the beach for a couple of years.
Well, with that kind of money, yeah, he doesn't have to jump right back in. From preps to pros, Shoot 360 Memphis is for you. If you're a basketball player looking to improve your game, especially looking to improve your shooting ability, Shoot 360 Memphis. Perfect your shot. Challenge yourself. Compete with others. Learn the proper ways to shoot the ball using modern analytics. The analytics aren't going to lie to you. So parents and grandparents out there, coaches, if you have a basketball player or two in your family, you want them to get good instruction, you want them to become better at what they're doing, give them a membership to Shoot 360 Memphis. This is the same system that stars like Steph Curry use, all types of professional and collegiate players, high school players, junior players. It's a revolutionary training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with expert coaching to improve shooting skills. The facility is equipped with advanced shooting machines that provide real-time feedback on shooting accuracy and arc and depth. Players can track their progress and analyze their performance. They are located in Collierville, but they are opening up their Cordova facility in less than 2 weeks. You can sign up, become a member at either one of the facilities or a member at both. Give them a call, find out more information, take a tour, 901-316-5500, or go online to Shoot 360 Memphis to sign up. And now they're making that transition to monthly membership. So not this long-term year or 2 year commitment. You can do it monthly. So check it out. It's Shoot 360 Memphis, where the preps and pros go to get their shot on. Coming up next, we open up Hour 3 with DeMichael Cole on the Grizzlies. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's time to ride during the Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Summer Sales Event. Check out 43 MPG Highway in a new 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. $17,935 or $249 a month. Need extra room for your vacation? Let Gossett make it happen with 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander. $30,490 or $449 per month. And go for miles and miles with 420 total range in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. $599 a month. Plus peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Military rebate, 500 loyalty rebate. Mirage Outlander 84 months. Mirage RHO 10934. MSRP 18435. Outlander RZO 55981. MSRP 31490. PHEV RZO 35245. MSRP 48065. Includes 1095 acquisition fee. Sale price includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes processing fee of $695. Lease terms includes processing fee of $695. 15 cents per mile excess wear and tear. With approved credit CD for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Burgess. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Burgess Rendezvous, a legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
As you know, summer is right around the corner, and for most people, that means more activities, more golf, more biking, more of whatever you love to do. But if you're dealing with aches and pains, your more could become less. This is why I'm here to tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. You see, instead of masking your pain, Relief Factor's formula is designed to help reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% 100% drug-free, and it's been a game changer for so many people. So let's get after it this summer. Let's feel good. Let's do more of the things that we love to do. Don't let pain keep you down. Give Relief Factor a try and save on your first order. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4RELIEF. Help fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
For Memphis football. 3, 2, 1, that's your winner! With a cast of returning stars ready for the big stage. The momentum for Memphis football is on the rise. Into the end zone. Tiger touchdown. He's it's time to Memphis. So purchase your tickets today at GoTigersGo.com. This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Belting. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It's been a little bit slow from some earlier rolling roadblocks there on 40 coming westbound. There around Germantown Parkway. Traffic's on the increase with some more volume over here on 240 east and westbound around Poplar, Walnut Grove. It still looks pretty good as you come up from the south on 55 northbound up to South Haven. Hey, 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in the Memphis area. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging, TomahawkCrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:03 the time. Final hour for us today here on this Hump Day edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you. Currently 80 degrees in the Memphis area, 90 for a high today. Now all of a sudden, I see the little sun indicator, meaning that the clouds may be rolling out sooner than later, and we'll get a little peek of the sun. So they're calling for partly cloudy skies, becoming overcast, but possibly sun. Tonight, 70 degrees for a low, cloudy skies this evening. Then tomorrow, you're looking at a mixture of sun and clouds. 91 for a high tomorrow, and it will get warmer as we get into the weekend and then early into next week. Hour 3 of the program brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. They specialize in flooring and carpeting, now located at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake, Mississippi. They also have stores in Cleveland, Mississippi, and in Little Rock. They specialize, like I said, in flooring and carpeting. They have hardwoods by Portercraft, ceramic and porcelain tiles, WPC and SPC vinyls, which are scratch-resistant, waterproof, top-of-the-line, carpeting from Southern Luxury Carpet, backsplashes for your kitchens and bathrooms, and plantation shutters and blinds, just to mention a few of the things that they offer. The warehouse is ready for you. You can come down. You're a contractor. If you're a commercial building owner, you want to do it yourself, take advantage of what they have to offer at Jenkins Floors and More because they sell it wholesale. Skip the middleman, going to save you lots of money. But if you want Jenkins Floors and More to do it for you, they can do that, and they can do it in a 2-week turnaround. In other words, you go with Jenkins, they'll have the job done in 2 weeks. They will come to you. They will give you a free estimate, show you different samples of what it will look like. Just give them a call at 662-469-9350. They're open Monday through Saturday. Or stop by any of their 3 locations, obviously the close one to Memphis, 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. It's Jenkins Floors and More. Time now to talk Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole.
It's time to talk some Grizzlies basketball. Joining Greg and Eli is DeMichael Cole, Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. Here's DeMichael with Greg and Eli.
He is DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal. You can follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC and listen to him every Wednesday at this time slot, joining us on Sports 56 Mornings. Good morning, DeMichael. And, hey, 1 week to go, my friend.
Yeah, one week to go. It's almost that time, and we're starting to bottle down to it. Finally in a week we can kind of get a sense of more direction on where this team will be going next.
Well, I give you a lot of credit. You've banged out a lot of really good stories to keep our interest going when it becomes a little monotonous for people, knowing that right now it's just speculation, a lot of innuendo out there, but it will come to fruition starting next Wednesday. I think before we go and get ready for the draft next week, we all kind of maybe get together and hang out with Monty Williams. He has $65 million to just do some good stuff with, so...
Yeah.
It's a shame. It's a shame he loses his gig, but my gosh, can you imagine that? There's a team that says...
Shame? Is it really?
No, it's not. It's not. But is it? But it's interesting that you have a team that just says, hey, $65 million. No problem. There you go.
Telling you, coaching is one of the, whether it's college football, NBA, they don't do it as much in the NFL. More so college football and NBA, where... Man, they just eat those fat chunks of buyout money and say, we don't want you here so bad. Just take the money and get away. And I mean, it's a dream. I mean, I'm thinking about, like, what, Ed Orgeron when he won that national championship, or like Gene Chizik at Auburn. They won those national championships. They get those big chunks of money, and then they fail right after that, and now they're sitting on $40, $50 million buyouts, and now Monty Williams, who, I mean, you remember the report, he barely even wanted to go there in the first place. And now you tell him, hey, we don't want you coaching our up-and-coming Detroit Pistons team. Oh, shoot, I just came from coaching a Suns team who I felt had a chance to win the championship every year. Please, give me the money.
He basically won the lottery.
But let me say this, because Monty Williams... He did have tragedy in his life, so that's where I feel a little bit bad for him. Then wasn't his wife killed, and then he was fired from Phoenix. Yeah, so I mean, but again, pay out of $65 million. Now they got to bring in a new coach and pay that coach handsomely. So there's more money there. I guess money is not an object right now in Detroit, but yeah, that's some wild stuff. I wonder who they will focus their search on, because you still have the Lakers, who haven't announced yet, although most believe it will be J.J. Redick with no experience. And then with Cleveland, James Borrego. We haven't heard yet, but I would imagine news will be coming soon.
Yeah, it seems like I would expect these decisions to come shortly, probably before the draft, more than likely. You want to have a coach have some influence on those decisions, even though, the front office will make them. But I think a big part of, the direction the team's want to go in is you need the player prototypes that those coaches desire. So I expect something to happen really soon here, especially with the Lakers. If the Lakers don't have a coach before the draft, I'll be really puzzled by that.
And I would assume that in Detroit, for Trajan Langdon to do this, I'm guessing he probably, has somebody in mind that he believes like that's going to be my guy.
Yeah, if you can Monty Williams with that much money left on the table, I would suspect that you have someone on the table, and quite frankly, it's probably his guy. What I mean by that is it's probably, it could be, James Borrego. I've seen some reports his name is being mentioned in the conversation, but I would expect it to be someone. Unless that ownership, because they said the ownership made the decision on Monty Williams. If they don't have any money problems, it would surprise me. But if they, I just expect them to kind of go for like not J.J. Redick probably, but like a younger, cheaper, like rising coach that probably won't cost as much.
So Michael Cole joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest lines. All right, so you've done a mock draft. You've done a second mock draft. You've done a story on possible second-round picks for the Grizzlies. You've done it pretty much all. Although there are still so many ways the Grizzlies can go in this draft, what would right now be your most educated guess or two of what you think the Grizzlies will end up doing? And again, this is pure speculation because you have no idea how the draft's going to go.
Yeah, I think they'll try to trade up. Probably won't like the offers, and then they'll probably end up trading down slightly. It's very possible for them to stick at 9, but I think at 9, I think there are certain guys that make a lot of sense for what the Grizzlies want to do, and then there are other guys who would probably surprise me if they go with them. You know, like there are prospect risers right now. Ron Holland, Cody Williams. You know, those guys are rising and could go ahead of 9, but they, you know, in theory make sense for what the Grizzlies want to do, but they don't fit the Grizzlies style these days because of what the Grizzlies have around them. Cody Williams more so than Ron Holland. He fits a little bit more, but he fits from the standpoint of he has the upside and the talent. But if you want to win now, you want shooters. I think the guys are Dalton Connett, who's starting to get some buzz to rise. I think I just saw another mock draft where he went 6 on ESPN's mock, and 6 is where I had him to Charlotte on my most recent mock draft after I had him 9 on the first. I think Dalton Connett, Donovan Clingan in a trade-up scenario, Reed Shepherd possibly if he drops. Like, those are 3 guys that make a lot of sense at 9 for what the Grizzlies want to do. If they aren't there, I wrote about it today, you know, some trade-down options for the Grizzlies. Khalil Ware makes a lot of sense. Yves Missi out of Baylor. Even Jared McCain, you know, from Duke, hadn't been talked about a lot in that range, but still one of the better shooters, combo guards. I think shooters or kind of those rim-running type bigs that can put rim on the archetype.
Exactly.
We were talking earlier, and you mentioned Cody Williams, and that ESPN and their mock draft has Cody Williams going to the Grizzlies at 9. And I just don't, like, to me, he doesn't make sense right now. Like, he seems like way too much of a project for what they need right now if you're picking in the top 10 of the draft.
For sure. That's what I think. But, I mean, who's to say that you don't have someone in the Grizzlies front office that's saying, hey, let's go get a project-type player, because, quite frankly, whoever you draft is probably not going to have a huge role on the team. The rotation, I mean, you guys know it. You got 7 or 8 guys that are already pretty much set in stone, unless you ship some guys out or whatever the case may be. But the starting lineup pretty much has 4 guys already in it. Then you got, you know, we'll see what happens with Luke Kennard. But as of right now, Luke Kennard, Brandon Clark, Vince Williams, and you can make a strong case for Gigi Jackson and or Santi Aldama. That's 9 right there. Like, so, you know, you can make a case that, hey, this guy's not going to play that much anyway. Let's go on an upside guy. And Cody Williams screams upside. This is a guy who could end up being probably one of the 3 best players in the draft, you know, if everything goes to plan. But right now, I mean, he shot 40+% from three-point range at Colorado. The downside, the project side that you're kind of referencing is the fact that, you know, towards the end of the season, he wasn't closing games. And, you know, despite being a starter, his minutes kind of went down some. And, you know, low assist numbers. Assist numbers comparable to his turnovers numbers, so not a lot of playmaking, you know, at this point, at this stage of his career, but has the good bloodlines. His brother is Jalen Williams, and at this point, you know, he was a 5-star recruit coming out, went to Colorado. Jalen Williams wasn't that. So, I mean, who knows what's left in the tank for him.
And I said he shot 41%, but he didn't shoot a whole lot of threes. He made less than one per game. And that's the thing. Like, you look at his NCAA tournament, like their playing game, he didn't even score. He had 0 points in that game. Yep. I think he got double digits one of their tournament games. Like, yeah, it just, I don't know. Maybe it might.
There's got to be better options. Seriously,
I kind of look like, and I'm not saying he absolutely, like, I almost feel like they're drafting Zaire Williams again.
I know. I was just going to say that 2 seconds ago, but
like, it's a Pac-12 guy named Williams. Maybe that's the problem when I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I think that's you're not the first person that I've heard say that. It's probably actually the 3rd or 4th, maybe. Like, I know that's the first name that comes to mind, and I mean, it makes sense. You know, project wing 6'9", projects well defensively, but he shot the ball better. Yeah. You know, you mentioned it wasn't on a lot of, you know, targets or whatever. But, you know, 41.7, I think, percent it was in college for him. So, you know, if you look at the Grizzlies and what they need, they don't need a guy who's going to put the ball on the floor and cook with 7 seconds left on the shot clock. I mean, they got Ja, they got Dez, they got Jaren. All those guys could average 20 plus next season. So you need someone who's just going to fill in around them, and you know, in a simpler role, he might, you know, do decently well. I don't know how he do as a rookie in that role, but long term, you could see him doing well in that role.
Well, whatever they do, they don't need to be drafting a guy or making a trade for somebody that's not going to be a part of the rotation, be a part of the impact of the team. And they're trying to get better. I mean, there's a void. We've talked about it ad nauseum. There's a void with the bigs. They need somebody with Jaren Jackson Jr. You hit it on the head. The rim runner big that can finish at the rim, or the shooter, right? So that's what you got to be looking at, whether it's through a trade or whether it's through the draft. That's what I believe. But you don't want somebody that's drafted and the kid's in South Haven the whole time, and the only time he comes up, God forbid, if there's injuries. You want somebody that can be impactful. I don't know who that is, but it's interesting because, like you said, they can go a bunch of different ways. If they can trade up, they will. If they can trade down and it makes sense for them, they'll do that. A couple of things I want to get to ask you here. Number 1 overall pick. The assumption was it's always going to be Sarr, and it may end up being Sarr. And it looks like Atlanta's keeping the pick, according to Landry Fields. But why is there such a big difference between Sarr and Klingon? And could Klingon actually be that guy?
I don't think he goes 1. I mean, Klingon feels like a safer pick, which, you know, whatever. But I think at 1 you're looking for the high upside, especially in this class. And Alex Sarr, at least defensively, he's going to be there. You know, we'll see how he progresses offensively. There's some tools there, and Ricochet too. I think both of those guys have a leg up on Klingon. I think it's, you know, the Klingon idea is more so like if somehow they were just given a great offer and wanted to trade back, because you know in your head you could get him at 3, 4 potentially. But I mean, because especially I think 4. I see no reason why Houston would get him, and they have Sengun and Steven Adams.
Right.
And I see no reason, you know, why that would happen. So if he falls to 4, I mean, that's San Antonio spot. Like you have a decent chance of getting the guy that you want at number 1 at 4. So I think there's some more to it. I don't think they'll draft Klingon number 1. I think those other 2 guys have kind of, I wouldn't say separated themselves, because that's hard to say with this class, but that's kind of been identified as the 2 guys, Ricochet and Sarr, that are probably going to go top 2.
Fair enough.
I think it was ESPN who said that one of the problems, they haven't been able to get Sarr in for a workout.
Right.
So that's part of the problem with him is that like they haven't been able to do that. Now maybe he still comes in for a workout, unless I guess if he just doesn't want to play in Atlanta, I don't know why you don't work out for the number 1 pick, for the team with the number 1 pick.
Yeah, I've heard that a little bit. That you know, I just didn't know how much, you know, validity there was to it, but I have heard that, you know, his interest in playing in Atlanta doesn't really seem to be there. And I don't know why or what that could be, but I mean that's probably why Ricochet is the one who's getting most of the number 1 pick buzz at this point.
I mean, does he really want to play for the Wizards? that seems like a weird second option. Like, I mean, I would much rather go to Atlanta and play for them than the Washington Wizards right now.
I mean, I don't know what the draw would be there. I guess because the Wizards, I mean, they traded Porzingis and Gafford in the last couple years. I mean, I guess he wants to be the next big that gets traded from there and goes to the NBA Finals.
Any guys that you're hearing that they're dropping that have been penciled in as top 10 picks or lottery picks that are dropping?
I wouldn't say so. More so, it's been the guys that are moving up. The one guy that has been noticeably dropping is Robert Dillingham, but I think that's because he hasn't been able to work out with a lot of teams because of the ankle thing. But Robert Dillingham, I would say, has been someone who, when we first started this process after the season ended, the collegiate season ended, he was top 3, top 4, top 5 pick buzz on a lot of mocks, whereas now you're seeing him probably likely to fall past the Grizzlies spot and maybe even into the teens. So he's the one guy. Most of the talk I've seen is like Cody Williams, Devin Carter, Dalton Connett as rock.
If they do trade down, like how far you think?
Teens. I don't think they leave the teens. Just takes two to tango. So you got to find a partner in that range of one. But I think it's very realistic that they could find a partner somewhere in the teens that would like to move up to 9, get a player that they desire, and that's where I could see it happening, because there's two sides to this. It's not only the Grizzlies moving down just to acquire additional assets. There's the option the Grizzlies would move down to unload on things that they don't consider assets anymore. We talked about the idea that right now there's 14 roster spots taken up, and the Luke Kennard thing will be addressed in the next week and a half. So we'll have answers on that front. But right now, there's 14 roster spots. You draft one guy in the first round, that's 15 spots. So if you draft a shooter, so to say, they still have to create room to get that next big, because they're going to get another big. But the room has to be created on the roster. Right. So that's the next big thing, yeah.
Is there if they trade down, is there a number like 14th, 15th pick, 16th pick that you would be comfortable taking Zach Edey?
Oh, yeah. I'd say around, I mean, you just hit it on the cuff. I'd say around 14 or 15 makes a lot of sense, because I don't think the Sixers would at 16, but after that, I think the Lakers are realistic. I think the Raptors are a realistic landing spot as well. I have him 19 in my mock to the Raptors. But I think the Lakers, who I have Khalil Ware going to at 17 right now, who's another guy who I've been hearing some things throughout that could be rising up. So might move him up on my next mock draft. But I think, E in that mid to late teens range is where he'll be.
All right, final thing for you, DeMichael Cole, the dynamic of how the Grizzlies work in the war room. Obviously, nobody's privy to that. The secrecy of this Grizzlies organization, not so much the organization, but this front office, is so different from back in the day. Now, it's not like the media was invited into the war room when they picked, but we've heard so many stories about dissension and kind of getting into it because you had an owner who was very active in picking, a general manager, obviously, who was active, his staff. The coach was involved. I mean, we've heard so many stories. You hear nothing about this. You got to figure that the pair is not involved, and Kleiman's the ultimate decision maker. But who else? And I'm not sure if you've taken a dive into this to try to figure out kind of how the inner workings of this front office go about trying to get ready for the draft, and then what they do actually on draft night.
Yeah, I would say that. Tayshaun Prince is a huge influence. I know that he's been self-scouting and watching prospects himself. And, a couple of the guys that I've, put on these recent players that the Grizzlies could be interested in are guys that I know specifically that Tayshaun Prince has been looking at. So, Tayshaun Prince has heavy influence. He's like, I would say, Zach Kleiman's right-hand man. And then there are some other people, in the room that have influence as well, going down to the scouting department and things like that. But I would say Tayshaun Prince is the guy who, he balances out, what Kleiman brings very well from his, basketball background in the NBA.
He is DeMichael Cole, Commercial Appeal, Grizzlies beat writer. What a terrific writer he is, and he will be extremely busy getting ready for the draft next week. Follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC. And listen to him each and every Wednesday. So next Wednesday, it'll be the morning of the day of the draft, at least day number 1, the all-important first round. And we'll talk to DeMichael about all that. And I'm sure there's a lot more rumors out there by the time we talk to him next. DeMichael, as always, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Okay, take care, guys.
You too.
Cody Williams, in the last 8 games of the season, made 1 3-pointer. went 4 for 16 from 3 over their last 12 games of the year.
Yeah, don't take a guy like that. I'm sorry. Don't take a guy who's had injuries.
So I shot 41%. He made 17 total threes for the season.
Yeah, what does the guy bring to the table? I mean, seriously. He's another tall wing that will sit behind 30 guys.
What he brings would be the upside. Like, again, if you're drafting him on the potential.
Yeah,
Long,
a lot of these guys have
athletic
potential.
Wing who, again, at least has shown the ability to shoot a very little, attempts.
Like Zaire, as you said.
But Zaire didn't make threes in college. Zaire was like a less than 30% shooter.
He was also banged up
in his one college season.
Yeah.
Now his was a weird one because it was the COVID year, all that stuff.
Right.
But
was he hurt too?
But it was a lot of. You had a lot of. I mean, again, like there's a lot that makes you. Besides the last name, the conference, and everything else, I just like it. It all jars me into. Again, really highly ranked recruit coming out, 5-star kid coming out of high school. Wasn't great at the college level, but has a ton of upside. Like it feels a lot like how you sell Zaire Williams as the 10th overall pick would be the same way you're selling Cody Williams as the 9th overall pick.
Yeah, I haven't seen that upside with Zaire. Look, got to be honest, right? When they hit him out of the park, we give them credit. When they don't, they don't. I don't see it. I didn't see it from the get-go with Zaire. I think it was a bad pick. They have had more success recently with the second round guys than they had with the first round guys. But obviously, when you have Ja fall into your lap, and what they did with Desmond was one of the great picks. Jaren was a pretty obvious pick, but they need to really nail this, whatever they do. And I'm cool if they're moving up, if they're moving down, because there's so much that they can do. And as everybody knows, it takes two to tango. But they have to address the two areas, the most important being the big, to help Jaren Jackson Jr. on the boards, be a physical guy who's setting screens, giving Ja and Desmond and others ways to get to the hole uninhibited. And then also a shooter, if they could find somebody to just add to the arsenal, depending on what's going on with Luke Kennard.
It's easy to make a great pick at Genesis Diamonds. Go see them and check out the amazing selection of jewelry they have, whatever it is you're looking for. Whether it be that beautiful engagement ring, whether it be a wedding band, whether it be a beautiful pair of earrings or a necklace or a pendant or a pre-owned Rolex watch, whatever it is you're looking for, the selection they have makes it very easy to pick out that perfect thing for you. And right now, during the month of June, well, they've even got a better deal because you don't have to worry about the massive cost. First of all, they've got great low prices to begin with, and right now, 5 years, 0 interest financing until the end of this month. So you could put nothing down, spread out your payments over 5 years, and pay 0 interest on anything you pick out at Genesis Diamonds. All GIA certified diamonds are included in this. It's an insane offer as they continue to find ways to bring you more value at Genesis Diamonds. The best selection, the best prices, great service, non-commissioned salespeople that are there not to try and pressure you into buying something more expensive, but just there to educate you and help you pick out that perfect piece of jewelry. And right now, during the month of June, 0% financing for 5 years. That's at Genesis Diamonds, Poplar and Perkins Extended, online, genesisdiamonds.com.
When we come back, a great story that I was reading just moments ago that's out there on the Twitterverse, or X, if you will, about Willie Mays and Satchel Paige, an exchange that they had in Memphis, Tennessee. That, we got some FedEx St. Jude Championship news to talk about as well. Stanley Cup Finals still going. We'll give you the latest on all of that when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Some people just know the more you protect, the more you save with Allstate, because they know insurance matters. Like if you protect your home and auto, Allstate can save you up to 25%. So it's like losing money if you don't bundle. Save more when you protect more. Bundle home and auto with Allstate today.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
They say health is wealth, and I could not agree more. That's why if you or somebody in your life is living with everyday aches and pains, I want to tell you about Relief Factor. And I'm telling you, I can feel the difference. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. Naturally. Now that's a big deal. Developed by doctors. Relief Factor's unique formula of ingredients all work together to help support your body's response to inflammation. Instead of masking pain for a couple of hours, Relief Factor actually helps reduce or even eliminate your pain for good. Whether it's neck, back, joint, or muscle pain, if you're looking to feel better, live better, give Relief Factor a try. In 3 weeks, you will know if it's working because you'll feel it. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Save on your first order. Don't let pain tell you how to live. Fight back naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Keeley and Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety toe boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duckhead dress shirts, duckhead caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Times Ranch jeans. Done, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCUSA church located in downtown Memphis.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Fuels and More. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 9:34 the time. We've been talking a lot about the legacy of the great Willie Mays, arguably the greatest player to ever play, at least, in my opinion, top two, Babe Ruth, Willie Mays. I think in the opinion of many, he'd be right there in the top couple of all-time Major League players, but he transcended just baseball. I mean, just a great, legendary athlete. And we talked in hour one, if you were with us, about the incredible timing of this. As today is Juneteenth, yesterday they began the ceremonies, which is really 3 days, down at Rickwood Park in Birmingham, where Willie Mays got his start from Alabama. He played for the then Birmingham Black Barons, getting his start at the age of 17, played for a couple years, and then, of course, into the major leagues, and the rest is history. Well, again, there was actually a chance that he was going to be at this event, and then he wrote a social media post that he said he was sorry he couldn't be there. This was a few days ago. And lo and behold, he passes yesterday as they had a minor league game featuring the Birmingham Barons last night at Rickwood. Today, they have all kinds of things going on for the ceremony. And then tomorrow, you have the Cardinals and the Giants playing in a game, a Major League Baseball game, with the Giants being one of the two teams where Willie Mays starred for all those years. So this is interesting. I didn't know this. I never read this until I saw this a few minutes ago. There was a profile written about Willie Mays in 2010 in GQ. And this is Willie Mays talking about Satchel Paige. He said, oh, yeah, we were in Memphis, Tennessee. It was like a playoff game. It might have been 1948. Satchel had a very, very good fastball, but he threw me a little breaking ball just to see what I could do. And I hit it off the top of the fence, and I got a double. When I got to second, Satchel told the third baseman, let me know when that little boy comes back up. 3 innings later, I go to kneel down in the on-deck circle, and I hear the third baseman say, there he is. Satch looked at the third baseman, and then he looked at me. I walk halfway to home plate, and he says, little boy. I say, yes, sir. Because Satch was much older than I am, so I was trying to show respect. He walked halfway to home plate and said, little boy, I'm not going to trick you. I'm going to throw you 3 fastballs, and you're going to go sit down. And I'm saying in my mind, I don't think so. If he threw me 3 of the same pitch, I'm going to hit it somewhere. He threw me 2 fastballs, and I just swung. I swung right through it. And the third ball he threw, and I tell people this all the time, he threw the ball, and then he started walking. And he says, go sit down. This is while the ball was in the air. He was just a magnificent pitcher. Some of the glorious stories that you hear from these amazing, legendary baseball players back in the Negro Leagues, and then, of course, many of them, like Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, going on to play and becoming one of the greats, or 2 of the greats in baseball history, and there's many more, from Frank Robinson to whoever. Just throw them out there, all these names. And now, of course, with Josh Gibson and others getting their statistics now qualifying for Major League Baseball, there's just more that people are recognizing, more players from back then that are being recognized. And that's what's going on with the integration of baseball, but the integration of our country at Rickwood Park in Birmingham. So just another great story. And it happened to be in Memphis, Tennessee. Russwood Park, I assume.
The speaking of baseball news out of the minor leagues, AAA, which obviously affects the Redbirds, that they will do away with the robot umpires making the actual calls 3 days a week like they had been doing. They will now go strictly to the challenge system, where the umpires, the human umpires, will make the calls full time, and then the teams have challenges to challenge those ball strike calls during the game. But they had been using that for part of the games, the robot umpires actually making the calls the other games, but they're doing away with the robot umpire part of that at the AAA level. So no more robots calling balls and strikes down at AutoZone Park. The umpire will call it. Teams can challenge it. In the International League, they only get 2 challenges per game. In the Pacific Coast League, they're going to get 3 challenges per game, and you get to keep those challenges if you win them. But it is believed that this is the pathway, because this is, which I still don't understand why players and managers don't like the robot just calling the ball or strike full time, but it is very unpopular. They much prefer this, where the actual umpire calls the ball or strike. They just have the ability to challenge it when they disagree with it. I don't know why you wouldn't just want the robot calling the balls and strikes.
They can't scream at the robot. They can't go out there and kick dirt on the robot. No, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. But I was surprised when you brought up that news.
But this is Major League Baseball. It appears wants to try and have this in place for 2026. That's kind of where Rob Manfred is hinted at, is that's probably when they would be able to have it in place. And it appears as though this will be the system they will go to. They will not use, they're just, again, because it's become so unpopular with the players and those in the minor leagues, that they want to use this system, and this probably will be the system. And they're using apparently using the 2 challenges in one league and 3 challenges in the other league, trying to determine kind of what is the right number. Apparently in their fan polling, fans have talked about there's just too many challenges at times. So they're trying to kind of figure out what makes the right number of challenges to give teams to try and get this all figured out and have it in Major League Baseball, they hope, by 2026.
We mentioned earlier in the show that the Pistons and new GM Trajan Langdon have fired head coach Monty Williams, and they owe him $65 million. Nice parting gift. Used to be a case of rice-a-roni. Anyway, your boy, Stephen A. Smith, says on ESPN, with Monty Williams available, that is a situation the Los Angeles Lakers should look at. And then awful announcing says, Stephen A. Smith with the last-ditch effort to keep J.J. Redick at ESPN? No, I don't think that's what he's doing. I don't think so. He's probably thinking, like a lot of us are, that how's this guy getting a gig as the head coach of the L.A. Lakers and has no experience? He's a podcaster. He's an analyst. He's a former player. But why would you go after Monty Williams if he didn't do the job in Detroit, didn't do the job in Phoenix, even though I thought he, for a while there, was good at Phoenix. He's also been the coach.
He was the coach of the year.
Yeah. So I remember complaining.
Didn't do a bad job at Phoenix.
Well, I remember complaining about that when that happened. I mean, sometimes my memory doesn't serve me correctly, but I'm pretty sure that I went off on Monty Williams being fired by the Phoenix Suns. But whatever the reason was, then he was at New Orleans right before that. So it didn't work out in Detroit because Langdon wants his own head coach in there. I don't know, though, but it's hard for me, if I was in the front office of a team, to hire a guy that was just let go. For whatever the reasons, it would be hard for me to do that. But then again, it would also be something that I would never do, is hire somebody without experience. So it'll be interesting to see if all of a sudden now, we got to wait to see if Woj drops a bomb or Shams drops a bomb that they are interested in Monty Williams, because that will be the next thing. Because I thought by today, Redick would have been announced as the head coach. So we were talking about with DeMichael Cole, these coaches, even though they're not the ultimate decision makers, they need to be in place. Borrego in Cleveland or whoever they're going with, now Detroit, they need to really be in place by the draft, which is 1 week from today.
The question on Williams will be like whether he even would. I mean, again, when you've got $65 million, he could very well just say, I would rather take a year off or more years off, but a year off and assess what jobs are available next year.
Right.
Now, granted, again, if the Lakers come after you, that's also might be hard to say no to. Like, it's the Lakers, LeBron James. Might be something that interests him to get right back in it. I don't know. I have no idea what his mentality is on that. But if I was the Lakers, certainly I would have interest in Monty Williams.
I can't speak for Monty Williams, but sometimes coaches want to get right back in there. They even though they have this money and can live handsomely, that they don't want to be out of sight, out of mind. They don't want to take that time off. Maybe they'll take off a month, but they don't want to have the entire year where they're not being a part of a team, coaching a team. Last night, Stanley Cup Finals, Game 5. Glad I didn't bet this one because I would have taken Florida. I thought they would have done what Boston did in the NBA Finals to Dallas. But Edmonton goes to Florida, wins 5-3. Now it's a 3-2 series, and they go back to Edmonton for Game 6. That would be something, right? Come back from 3-0 and win the Stanley Cup. But Edmonton now has put themselves in the position to now tie the series at home and force a decisive Game 7 in Sunrise, Florida. Also, from the FedEx St. Jude Championship, while there's still weeks to go, the latest FedEx Cup points, remember the top 70 go to the playoff and play in that first event in Memphis. Right now, Andrew Putnam is at number 70. The first guy out would be Aaron Rye at 71, but some other interesting names include Justin Rose, who is 74th, so he's closing in, but right now would be on the outside looking in. Ricky Fowler, 110th, as far as one of the most popular golfers out there. As far as who's in right now, but close to that 70 mark, Adam Scott, another fan favorite at 65. Victor Perez at 66. Lee Hodges at 67. Brendan Todd at 68. Lucas Glover, who had such a great year last year, he's at 69. And did he win at Memphis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the defending champion. That's right. At number 70, as I mentioned, Andrew Putnam would be the last player in if the championship was to start tomorrow. It doesn't.
Hopefully Putnam and Perez hang on and get in.
I like Victor Perez. He's the barber of Seville.
I'm sure Joe Tomek is hoping Putnam and Perez get into ticket sales. Huge ticket sales implications, whether Putnam and Perez, the P&Ps of the world of golf, play in your tournament or not. Other than if you know you're not going to have Tiger, Putnam and Perez are really the best
choice.
Best thing you could ask for.
No, but in all seriousness, I guarantee he wants Ricky Fowler somehow to make that comeback. But Ricky Fowler right now is 40 spots out of position.
Fleet Feet is the place to go to get your running gear. You want to make sure you get shoes that are perfect for you. Go see the folks at Fleet Feet. They'll do that for you by taking a look at the way you run, the way you walk. They'll get you fitted with shoes that are perfect for you. Plus, any other gear you need, well, they've got that as well. They even got advice. They got runners that are working there. They're all about runners at Fleet Feet. So maybe you're just getting started in the running world. Maybe you're trying to train for a race for the first time. Well, talk to the folks at Fleet Feet. They can help you. They can give you advice on that, as well as finding all that gear that you need and making sure you've got shoes that are just right for you. Plus, you can get involved in their group runs and other things that they do. Keep up to date by going to their website, fleetfeetmemphis.com, or you could go on social media, find them there, keep up to date with things they've got going on. They've got 2 locations in East Memphis. They're in the Laurelwood Shopping Center out in Collierville, Poplar East Levy, next door to Huey's. They are Fleet Feet.
Final segment on the way. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Genesis Tires is the lowest interest rates on the planet because we never stop thinking about it. Zero interest financing on any purchase. Full tennis bracelets, 5-star rings starting at only $35. Earring, diamond stud earrings, just $115. Spread your payments over 5 years. Zero interest. Spending spans, jewelry, and products, watches, nothing's held back now through June 30 only at Genesis Tires. Approved credit, see store for details.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding and a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Granger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call CraigGranger.com or just stop by. Granger. You get it done.
All 650 acquisition fee, Telluride RG 510849, MSRP 38305, Forte LXS RE 780 169, MSRP 21820. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/30/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Hey Jeff, I hear you've got the Kia Summer Sticker Sales event going on right now at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. Give me some scoop.
Randy, the scoop is I'm ready to put you in a new Kia for less. 2024 Kia Forte LXS 41 MPG Highway, $199 a month. $34.99 do it signing. How about a 2024 Kia Telluride LX 357 a month? $39.99 do it signing, 24-month lease.
Plus 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9. And every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
Gossett Kia South, 2680 Mount Moriah, or online anytime. KiaMountMoriah.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling.
I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-1914. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-1914. That's 800-575-1914.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
Corky's Barbecue.
Hi, this is Jay Stovall with Corky's Barbecue. We have been serving up our legendary barbecue for more than 39 years, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Whether you're dining in, picking up in our drive-thru, or serving our famous barbecue at your office or home. With Corky's Party Pack, you are the hit of the party. Barbecue pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, barbecue sauce, and buns, starting at only $8.49 per person. And as you know, we send plenty of food. You never have to worry about running out of the store.
Corky's Barbecue.
Hi, this is Jay Stovall with Corky's Barbecue. We have been serving up our legendary barbecue for more than 39 years, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Whether you're dining in, picking up in our drive-thru, or serving our famous barbecue at your office or home. With Corky's Party Pack, you are the hit of the party. Barbecue pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, barbecue sauce, and buns, starting at only $8.49 per person. And as you know, we send plenty of food. You never have to worry about running out of the store.
Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Boys and More. And once again, Mark Gaston and Eli Savor.
Welcome back, everybody. Final segment here on this Wednesday edition, this Hump Day edition of Sports 56 Mornings. We've been celebrating the life of Willie Mays, who passed away yesterday at the age of 93. We had the story about him and Satchel Paige in Memphis, and Billy wanted to call in to talk about Satchel Paige. He joins us on the Sports 56 listener lines. Billy, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Doing great. What you got?
Oh, no, I probably won't get this all right, but I was just looking up Satchel Paige, and it said on August 6, 1952, Paige came. But anyway, my dad was playing minor leagues back then, and he was called up to play in St. Louis in a preseason game that where they were honoring Satchel Paige, and I believe this was the St. Louis Browns. I just read some of the stuff on it, but even on a day like that when they were honoring him, as most people know, those people got a lot of flack because they were new African Americans in coming into the league. And
right.
My dad would talk about even that day they were giving him, a bunch of crap.
What year was that, Billy?
Well, I want to say my dad won a state title at what they used to call CBHS CBC back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say in 48. He was born in 30, and he played in the minor leagues in Mexico and Canada. He led his league in home runs at least once out when he played in Colorado City. But at the time frame, I'm not sure. He passed long ago, and my dad.
Well, I'm sure it was something for him also to have that opportunity to see, maybe even meet Satchel Paige. Billy, thank you so much. Really appreciate you sharing that with us. I'm sure there's a lot of amazing stories out there. Satchel Paige was one of the greats who never got that opportunity in Major League Baseball. Willie Mays did, and we're all grateful for that. We're all better for having seen the great Willie Mays play at such a high level for so long. College basketball note. I'm going to butcher the guy's name, so bear with me. I'm seeing it for the very first time. 22-year-old Croatian big man Matej Bajnak, I feel confident about that last name, has committed to Wichita State, according to ESPN. He will be deemed a transfer with likely 2 years of NCAA eligibility remaining after being enrolled in a Croatian university. Bajnak started for Sabona in the Adriatic League. So another veteran big man from a foreign country that will play in the American Conference, who has played recently in the American Conference. Vlad Golden was absolutely terrific with Florida Atlantic. He's now followed his coach Dusty May to Michigan. You have the kid at UAB, who I think is still there. Moussa Cisse, now a member of Memphis for a second time.
According to Woj, the Pistons could be going after James Borrego. So could have a James Borrego bidding war.
Yeah, DeMichael mentioned that, right? Interesting. Cleveland needs to beat him to the punch. They shouldn't have hesitated if that was their guy.
So we'll see. We'll see what Borrego does if he does have that option. Which way he would rather go? The terrible up and coming team or the team that's kind of stuck in the middle of the pack right now in the Eastern Conference?
A little Jimmy B bidding war. Never hurt anybody. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Big thanks to Parth Upadhyay for joining us today and DeMichael Cole. We thank them as DeMichael joins us each and every Wednesday. Tomorrow, our Thursday regular, Kerry Miller on Major League Baseball. Lots to talk about with Kerry. Flag Day is now in the rearview mirror. We are closing in on the exact halfway point of the Major League Baseball season. Also at 9:30, our friend Joe DeLeon. Joe just went through a situation that you'll want to hear about, a punishment for being last in his rotisserie team, in his fantasy football league, and what he had to do at a McDonald's out in California. Quite the story. He'll be on with us. We'll have some other stuff as well to talk about tomorrow. Join us, please, won't you? Starting bright and early at 7 a.m. Waldo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. For Eli Savoy and for Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great day, everybody.